welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Helldivers. Helldivers has a new update, so we're going to talk about the huge Helldivers 2 patch, adds new enemy types, new biome full of fresh horrors, level cap increase, and much more. We're also going to talk about and watch the Ackman's new video, which is called Sony is Digging Their Own Grave. And then we're also going to watch, where is this one? We're going to watch the console that almost changed gaming forever. This is from Game Changers, but it's also from a channel called Diamond Plus Documentary, which I think they just took and then uploaded their thing. I don't know if they're associated with them in any way, shape, or form, but I've never seen this Game Changer episode, which is the console that almost changed everything, which is basically Sega, what they did with the industry and stuff like that. So we're going to watch that today. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Good morning, Eclipse, Aku, Jesse Mack, Kraken, Sarge McCluskey, Ward, Altern, good morning. Who am I missing? Anybody else I'm missing? Wonder Rose, good morning. Let's see who else I'm missing. Travis, good morning. Jason, good morning. Big Bo, what's going on? Good morning. All right. Let's get into the first story, which is a trailer with the new update from Helldivers. Oh, before we get into that, actually, I want to talk about what you guys were talking about in chat about. Travis was asking about, the Star Wars game, Zero Company, right? Says, do you think what's going on, Kylo? Do I think it's still going to sell around 2 to 3 million copies? I do. I think it's going to be like 2.2, 2.5 million copies sold. And it's not because of Star Wars. It's because of the genre of the game itself, as I said in chat, right? I don't believe that genre is very popular. Even XCOM, which is like amazing, right? It didn't sell gangbusters because of the genre of the thing. Eclipse brought up it sells more on PC than it does on console, just because it's easier for mouse and keyboard and stuff like that for people. And that's where the people originated those types of games, right? Midnight Suns didn't do very well, and you could say it's because of Marvel. You could say this one's not going to do well because of Star Wars, but it's just the genre itself, right? And because they're using the IP like Marvel did and like Star Wars is doing, they got to pay the Disney tax, right? They got to pay that tax where if they get like 25%, it's like 25% or 30%, something like that. So if they had to sell 1 million copies, and I don't know what their budget is for the game, but if they had to sell 1 million copies, now they got to sell 1.3 million copies, right? Just to break even because they're using the IP. Now, it would be much easier if they just made an original game. Like XCOM is an original game, right? It's not from an IP or a break, and they don't have to give a fee to anybody else. They made the game, and that's what they did. Morning, just enough. So Zero Company has to do well enough, and again, we don't know their budget. So if it's like 50 million and under, 1 million copies, 2 million copies, would be great for them, right? But they also have to pay the tax. They have to pay the Disney tax. So hopefully it does well. It looks like a good game. I'm not going to support EA for that game, but maybe down the line when it goes on sale and whatnot. And again, it's only, a $50, $60 game? We'll see what they do as it goes down the road. Again, owned by EA. So we'll see what happens. Do you get to play it afterwards? Do they take it down a couple years later? Do they delist it? Right? These are a whole bunch of things that a lot of people go into now with gaming. On top of that, it's the genre. The genre itself is just not a very, millions, tens of millions of people are buying that type of game. What's going on, Roic? So yeah, going into that, that's exactly why that game, regardless if I like it or you like it and you enjoy playing those games, cool. But from a business standpoint, I don't think it's going to do very well. But that's just me. All right, let's get to Helldivers, okay? Helldivers got this new preview. It's called Deep Dive into Battle for the Gateway Planet. I loved Helldivers 2 when it first came out. Played it on PC when it first came out. Put about 70, 80 hours in it. Got to level, I think it was like 72 on PC. Then it came out in August last year for Xbox. Repurchased it. I bought it twice. I bought it on PC, and then I bought it on console. Got up to level 65, 66, I think, on console. I like Helldivers, but they constantly fighting themselves by not fixing the things that need to get fixed, right? So here we are. They made a big update. Warhammer stuff is coming in. And also, we showed that a couple weeks ago, and now they have a big update and a patch here. So let's check this out.
Illuminate attack! Fresh horrors are mounting another assault on Rurga Bay, trying to prevent Super Earth from venturing into the void. Promoting the most experienced Helldivers and deploying Seath, High Command seeks to curb this undemocratic aggression from threats devoid of liberty.
The Super Earth Armed Forces, or the Seath.
Is that his real voice? Is that his real voice? I'm not making fun of him. I just don't see that voice coming out of that body. Is he putting on an accent, or is that his actual voice?
Can now deploy anywhere in the Galactic War. Fighting next to a real Helldiver is the biggest honor a Seath can imagine. It's like meeting your...
You see that guy just shoot himself in the head? Watch this.
Fighting next to a real Helldiver is the biggest...
Right here. Watch this guy.
...honor a Seath can imagine.
He just shot his own guy in the back of the head. He just shot him in the back of the head. That's a true Helldiver experience.
Seath can imagine. It's like meeting your favorite rock star and then getting to play a set together. They've also been updated with new defined squad roles. First, we have the squad leader.
Wait a minute. Is he talking about NPCs? Is that what he's talking about right now? Like there's NPCs that follow you around?
Responsible for leading the Seath across the front lines and give them tactical orders. Next, we have the rifleman. Trustworthy boots on the ground, armed with the ever-democratic Liberator. The specialist, the heavy support squad member, armed with a machine gun and an expendable anti-tank launcher. Last but not least, the medic. Armed with their Defender SMG, the stim pistols, and stim injectors, they are responsible for keeping their fellow Seaths and you, the Helldivers, in fighting condition. When you fight on a planet with the heavy Seath...
All right, what's happening there? They changed the map, and now there's a whole bunch of markers. So you could... Did they change it where you can fight anywhere now? It doesn't matter where you fight? You're just fighting where you feel like you want to fight?
Heavy Seath presence tag. The Seath will monitor the progress of the Helldivers and send in squads and Pelicans to support.
Roadkill.
When deployed, they will push towards objectives and counterattack enemy incursions. And remember, you can hug every Seath.
All right, hold on a second. I want to rewind here for a second.
Last but not least, the medic. Armed with their Defender SMG, the stim pistols, and stim injectors, they are responsible for keeping their fellow Seaths and you, the Helldivers, in fighting condition. When you fight on a planet with the Heavy Seath presence tag, the Seath will monitor the progress.
Heavy Safe Presence tag. Controversial Seath forces are heavily deployed across the planet and may directly support Helldiver missions. Okay, so the NPCs, they have more NPCs joining in to help you with the battle.
Of the Helldivers and send in squads and Pelicans to support.
Travis, did you forget to take your medication this morning? You're starting to pick fights of your opinions? Awesome.
When deployed, they will push towards objectives and counterattack enemy incursions. And remember, you can hug every Seath.
We have doubled the level cap from 150 to 300.
Double the level cap. But is there a reason? Can I unlock stuff?
If you are a veteran diver who's been diving a lot while capped at 150, do not worry. We've been tracking you very closely.
And now they're at 300.
When you log back in, a new rank will be attributed to you based on the experience that you have gained while capped.
This is a horror experience. These are the new abominations that the Illuminates have created. We've had
Roadkill, I already have a Switch. I literally already have a Switch. My son owns a Nintendo Switch too.
Had the voteless roaming around here and there. They are kind of the creations of the Illuminates that were made just as the invasion started.
The reason is reasons. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
And now they've been working on more refined things, more nasty things. What you need to focus on is keep shooting and moving and don't stay at one place for too long. Because these enemies are one of two parts. Either they soak up a lot or you have to break them down. Wherever you stand still, enemies will just keep flowing.
Just to put it out there though, Roadkill, it's not mine. It's my son's. He owns the Switch 2. Right? He owns the Switch 2. I do not own a Switch 2. I've only played the Switch 2 maybe 5 times since he's had it since Christmas. Playing Mario Kart. That's it.
Into that area. The wretch is made out of the limbs of democracy. To keep them down, you want to aim for the limbs, you want to aim for every other part than the head. The Crusher is on a death march. It just keeps going and it just keeps walking towards you. You have to keep attacking it with
So this thing's just a bullet sponge is what you're saying.
everything you have, because the second you stop looking at it, the second you stop attacking it, it regenerates. So these are creatures that are born in the void, and because the void can appear anywhere, they can appear anywhere.
So here's the thing I don't like about the game, right? And this is my problem that it was when it was on PC when I first played it 2 years ago. This is a problem more of a problem when you're playing it later, is that enemies just appear. They just appear. It's like you get rid of everybody, you turn your back around, and then when you turn back around, they're like there. They just appeared out of nowhere. And this is not because of the void, right? This is because of bad coding, and they just threw shit at you to make it more hard, even though you already killed everything, right? Like, I don't like that. That's why I stopped playing, because me and Mr. Luke last year, okay? We're playing the game, and all of a sudden just guys would just appear right in front of you, and it's like, what is that? Like, where is this? If you're going to set a canon, if you're going to set the lore and stuff like that, you can't just have guys appear right in front of you. It's like, make a door, make a ship come down, something to put more enemies on the ground instead of just boop and just appear in front of you. That's my criticism. Right, I see an autocannon in the NPC's future. Well, maybe we'll play that. We'll probably finish Halo tonight. We'll probably finish Halo Campaign Devolve tonight, and then maybe next week we'll jump into this, Sarge. All right, so let's get to more information here from Helldivers. Huge Helldivers 2 patch adds illuminate enemies, new biome, full fresh horrors, and a level cap increase, and much more. So Helldivers 2 Arrowhead has released major patches for the game, adding new illuminate enemies, a new biome, and raising level cap. Update 7.0.0 is about players' fight towards the void, which will see cannon fodder of the Super Earth run into a hideous mutation organism. The patch notes of Steam are below. We have received intelligence reports and indicated metamorphous creature emerging from the heart of the void. There are ghoulish diversion, thought and instinct of illuminate scourge threatened our freedom, needs an unversive description, description. The patch adds a new SIFA planet modifier, which will see Super Earth armed forces join players in battle in your mission, with range from new tools, stem pistol, heavy machine guns, and more. These friendly SIFA NPC troopers have new and improved behavior weaponry, update visuals, also with the patch to expand emote slots, and the emote wheel capacity, which also raises from 4 to 8, associated with reload improvements. Our new enemies, the Crusher, is also a deathmatch capable of regenerating while taking heavy damage and needs to be worn down quickly and consistently without a moment of pause. Okay. Elsewhere, Wrench is also relentless, a nimble enemy that requires a quick trigger finger to focus enemies that are able to dodge and leap the players while also advancing quickly to dismantle the weapons along with their will live. The Helldiver rank system is expanded beyond 150, adding 15 new ranks and titles that go all the way up to level 300. Each new rank comes with its own unique title and icon. Today is also the day Helldivers 2 times Warhammer 40,000 crossover launches, so in the legendary War Bonds. Community feedback changes. We're trying out new section to shout out some of the fixes and changes in the high-up community wish list. So upgrades. Super Earth engineers have replaced the engine and transmission in the Gator in favor of much more powerful Super V48 Interceptor engine. There's also improved the speed and handling. The Constitution has a stripper clips. Okay. Associated reload rework problem we want to solve. The original intent was a tactical action needed to collaborate with the designated reloader and carries the backpack. We have reevaluated how it works, and with also the game has evolved. Since launch, we got the conclusion. The assisted reload action required too much coordination, which led to rarely happening. Instance expectations with the changes. We want to reduce the complexity of the assisted reloading to promote using it more. Allow players to keep their backpack and reload whenever you need. While the teammate is easily help you when the opportunity arises. The change we also made is Helldivers can now assist reload as long as one of the wielder or the reloader of the weapon has the correct backpack. They did balancing issues, update icons for the backpack weapons and expandable weapons. Problem we want to solve is finding a specific weapon to reload or to load out can be hard to do with all new weapons added to the arsenal. It can be hard to know that a support weapon needs for backpack or cannot be reloaded when only looking at the icon. Intent and the expectations with the change, we want to make it easier to find specific weapons and to plan your loadout. It should also be easier to know when the weapon needs a backpack, or it also reloads when you're also looking at the icon. The change we made, stratagem weapons that require a backpack now have a backpack icon included on the loadout icons. Well, that's nice. Stratagems, also weapons that can also not be reloaded, now have a drop weapon icon included into the loadout icons. Decrease heavy landing duration. Problem with what we want to solve is the original intent was to make it a heavy landing to feel like you recovered from a high fall. The player lost control over a long time when landing the feet from a higher fall. We wanted to make the smoother recovery and heavy landing state and not remove the control for too long, while we also make it feel like the heavy landing recovery. We decreased the duration of heavy landing animation from around 40%. The stem action input smooth. Problem we had to solve is players can also experience dead input when trying to stem when the stem action was not allowed. And set the expectation to change. We wanted to lessen the feeling of dead input and using the stem action. We also changed for the stem. I think Sarge complained about that, right? I think Sarge was actually complaining about, he's like, I'm healing. Why won't it let me heal? So I think they fixed that. I think they finally fixed it. We changed to the stem input, remembered a short duration when the action is not allowed, and would also execute the stem action allow within a duration. This works similar to how the reload input action changes from the last patch. Ammo rebalancing and short magazine attachments and secondaries. The benefit of the short magazine are too few compared to the drum magazine. The benefits of some anti-personal sidearms do not have enough benefits compared to the other sidearm options. Give more benefits to short magazines to make them items more useful compared to drum magazines for the same weapon. Give more benefits to some of the lesser anti-personal sidearms to make them items more useful. Short magazines got more max spare starting magazines, and some of the anti-personal sidearms got more max spare starting magazines. Primaries, the R2124 Constitution added a full stripper clip reload when reloading the magazine is empty. Primary attachments to short magazines, the AR-23 Liberator, the AR-23P Liberator, the AR-23C Liberator, and the A-23A Liberator Carbon. AR-59, okay, so these are all the things. They increased the magazine size, They increased all magazine size for a lot of these things. Stratagems, the napalm airstrike problem we want to solve is the Eagle napalm did not feel effective compared to other Eagle stratagems, napalm stratagem. Here's the problem, right? They put themselves in this situation. You can go back and look when the game first came out. I think we were on Lono's podcast on Fridays, right? We were talking about, I said what they should do with this entire game. This is like a week after the game came out. I said how they should update stuff, don't nerf things. And for the last 2 years, all they've been doing is nerfing shit for the entire time. Players' numbers dropped one more drastically than they would in the past because it was holding good numbers. But they started nerfing stuff, nerfing. It's like, why are you nerfing a PvE game? Why are you nerfing a PvE game? It's a PvE game. Who's complaining that you feel overpowered, right? That's why there's different levels and levels of difficulty, right? If you want to feel like a god, then lower the difficulty. If you don't want to feel like a god, you want more pushback, then get into higher difficulty, right? And there's that resources that you can capture that you need to get stuff to upgrade your stuff that you have to push to work with other people, right? Why nerf stuff in a PvE game never made sense to me, but here we are, right? Now they're actually buffing the stuff. Create a larger area of effect of the napalm fire, make more effective compared to other napalm stratagems. Increase explosion radius from 8 to 10, more spread out bomb patterns to cover larger areas. The MD-17 anti-tank mines problem we want to solve is the explosion of the mines looks like they can destroy larger things. Intent changes for this is the effect the explosions should match the visuals better. Make the mines work more situations like destroying colony walls and bug holes from outside. Increase the demolition strength from 30 to 40. Now the enemies, okay, the bugs, the hunters, problem we want to solve is hunters that variants were also unable to attack FREs constantly, and they could only use their tongue to attack and struggled to find proper position to launch it. The intent of this is the Helldivers enter the FRV hunter should be able to attack the vehicle more naturally. The change we made would allow one melee attack to correctly trigger against the FRVs. The ultimate problem we want to solve is when the Helldiver got attacked, Okay, they are holding the ballistic shield. There's also created a clipping issue where the arm and vector could also merge into the body and Helldiver, sometimes resulting in sending the Helldiver at a high speed in the air. Finally, the Exo Mech with also ballistic shield would protect against the damage, but Helldivers are now ragdoll when blocking attack. Helldivers won't be sent to low orbit anymore after blocking the attack with the ballistic shield. Well, that's nice. The increased Exo Mech melee force strength from 25 to 40. That's a huge. Right? Conformed Exo Mech melee attack armor penetration also correctly be anti-tank. They fixed crash issues, rare crash that could also happen dropping down a core drill, fixed a crash when you can also occur spreading fire, fixed a rare crash which also occurred when mortar sentries updated the target enemy. Let's see. PS5 and Xbox fixed a crash on boot and also occurred after going into a settings menu, fixed a rare UI crash on shutdown, fixed a crash when using multiple monitors. Weapons and stratagem fixes. Sway to reload weapons stats now display decimals, better their accuracy. Stratagem weapons now require backpack, now have backpack icons. You can now assist reload and Helldiver using ammo from backpack. Fixed glitch where Veto pistol would also receive an extra round. Also corrects a few other weapons which also receive an extra round magazine or heat coil. Fixed a bug where the camera clipped through. Enemies will no longer spontaneously attack unless the Helldiver... Did they fix the thing where they just appear? Fix an issue where also the first-person animation. Okay. Fix an issue with the Helldiver's cancel draw animation. Orbital laser will no longer occasionally get stuck after targeting a flying enemy. That's good. Fix a case where the breaker drill could get stuck in the roof of a certain Hive world mission. Enemies. Fix an issue where gatekeeper weapons clipped into each other. Fix an issue with the visually removing the armor for Impaler. Impaler closed melee attacks was also damaged shockwave. Hunter's now able to attack the FRVs more consistently. Fixed a bug where enemies would disappear when Helldiver died, thus not being able... Oh, that's it. That's another one. Invisible enemies. That was happening as well. I don't know if they fixed that. Fixed enemy navigation issues on one to take down overshipped locations. Fixed a bug where the melee attack could clip through. Fixed an issue where watchers attacking players would also mount behind. Reduce clipping between the Helldiver vehicles. What else we got here? Miscellaneous fixes. All right. So, look, it's amazing. Look how many fixes there are. We're almost 3 years. There's 2.5 years since this game came out. And they're still making fixes to things that been in the game for years. You know, whatever. So, chat, are you guys going to go back and try it out again? Maybe they fix the things that you want. Maybe they'll grind a little bit more. I'll go back and check it out. But I hate as soon as I see someone just appear in front of me, and now it's the void, okay, that they can just appear in front of you, you better put a fucking portal in front of me, and they walk through the portal just so I know that, hey, they're coming through the portal. Because if they just blink in front of me, I'm good. I'm good. I'll leave the game as fast as I went back in. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of Helldivers 2? Have you been playing this entire time? Have you not been playing it? And why haven't you been playing it? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. All right, let's get to chat. What do you guys think? Let's see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Shadow? What's going on, Saint? Let's see. You guys talk about Rockstar. What's going on, Mr. Luke? All right. Moving on. I'm looking at the chat. You don't care about this game, so we're moving on. All right. Remove I can't read the name because it's so small. Remove the garbage disposal. If you're interacting with Iron First or Iron Fist, just know that good luck to you. good luck to you. That's all I have to say. All right, we're gonna watch Ackman's latest video called "Sony is digging their own grave." If you guys like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Ackman's got a big channel. We watch his stuff every once in a while. He's got almost 2 million subscribers. We're going to watch this video. Give it a like. Links in the description down below if you like it. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on their channel as well. If you don't want to watch me stopping and pausing and talking about this, okay, you can go to his channel and give it a watch. And I do recommend that if you want to just uninterrupted, won't hurt my feelings in any way, shape, or form. On this channel, we watch stuff, we read stuff, I give you my thoughts and opinions, and we get your thoughts and opinions in chat as well. All right, here's the Ackman talking about Sony is digging their own grave.
Desperately hoping that all their detractors lay down, die, and accept the death.
Bat just came in and said, Helldivers, did you see the update? We are 26 minutes in the stream, and we literally just covered the entire update. Just rewind just a little bit.
Of physical media to embrace a dystopian all-digital future, one that's not half as cool as The Matrix. Whoa. After revealing their latest supervillain plot to destroy all physical games in the galaxy, Sony is now dealing with one of the largest and most well-deserved PR dumpster fires. Man, you'd have better luck finding...
I love the fact that we talked about this the last couple weeks, that whatever's happening with Sony and them going completely quiet, right? This is when they quiet down. It's PR, right? Once they do this thing, they just stay quiet. If you say nothing or do nothing, they just kind of want to let it go. It's almost like letting a kid have a tantrum. And just, you ever see that? You ever go to a store and the mom's like shopping, the kid's on the ground just melting, right? He's like, ah! And the mom's just like, uh-huh. Yeah, that's what Sony is doing with the customers. The customers are telling what they don't like, okay? And then all of a sudden, now they're screaming like babies, right? And they're like, we'll just ignore them because they want it to pass, right? They never, ever... Then afterwards, they come out and they say things, and then there's article after article after article telling you why they have to get rid of physical media. Because, and everyone's like, yeah, that's right. See that? They have to get rid of it. Otherwise, what's going to happen?
Bigfoot than someone willing to unironically defend this company anymore. It's been a few weeks since Sony's bizarre seppuku attempt, and every day since July 1st, they have been
Remove says 30. Can you cover Helldivers 2 again? Sure. Just pause here, rewind, and you could just replay it. It'd be like deja vu.
Relentlessly mauled, mocked, made fun of, and ratioed across all social media. Seeing such a strong reaction from the gaming community, you know, it gave me hope that we could make a change, because everyone hated what Sony did, and nobody is on their side.
Except a bunch of people on their side.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody could... There's no way you could think about this and go, yeah, there's people supporting Sony because of the decision they're making. You're like, this is impossible. But yet, you're out there. There's some of you in the channel right now. You're like, yeah, fuck physical media. And it's like, huh? But why?
Right? Wrong! Sony actually responded to us. Not officially, of course, and I can't be 100% certain, but they obviously don't respect their fans enough to communicate with them. I mean, they just come out and said that.
Sony trusts PlayStation brand loyalty over players' concerns, right?
Shit's crazy. La 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 la. I'm not owned. Call it a hunch.
Right. Do you see what you just said there? Now remove the garbage disposal is brand new. You see what you just said right there? You said this, and then he said this. And that's all you need to know. It's all you need to know.
But it seems like Sony has outsourced their PR department
What's going on, Waterbear?
Into the hands of the people that gamers trust more than anyone else. Game journalists.
The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black.
As I said in
I remember covering that. I was like, what the fuck are we talking about?
The last video, Sony's position is indefensible, which is why they didn't provide any justification for it. And even now, like, what I've seen amongst some of the game journalism is like, it's hard to call it a defense, but this is the best counter argument we got, so we got to talk about it. The only arguments I've seen in Sony's defense have come from those inside the industry. And YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead has proposed a compelling theory that Sony has also deployed a small contingent of bots.
I mean, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. We have bots everywhere. Sometimes sometimes there's people that come in here. You're like, you have to be a bot.
Clankers, and like the B1 battle droid,
and they really are pretty useless.
A company as big as Sony is more than capable of launching its own misinformation campaign, and it seems some game journalists have fallen for it.
Wait, what is that? Hold on.
Launching its own misinformation campaign.
Despite outrage at Sony shifting towards the discless future, only 7 PlayStation games have managed more than 100,000 physical sales in the US. We covered this, right? There's so much context that's missing from this example, but yet these companies just keep publishing this stuff because the companies pay their bills and they have to be relevant, right? They have to go along with it. And then later they'll make the thing later and go, how did this happen? It's the gamer's fault. Sure, okay. I mean, if there's still 20%, 25% of the market still physical in the world, but they're like, nah, it's not true. Oh, okay.
And it seems some game journalists have fallen for it. Though to be fair, although I'm going to be criticizing companies like IGN, Eurogamer, Kotaku, and Polygon because they've all come out and said, leave alone.
That's right.
The multi-billion.
You gotta leave them alone. You gotta leave the big corporation alone. They're just trying to make the best products, minimal viable products, half-ass products for us so you can pay more and more money for them. Please don't harm the big billion, 100 billion, trillion-dollar companies. Please.
Billion-dollar company. Most, if not all, of these outlets have also posted articles criticizing Sony and their decision.
It's honestly one of the most baffling corporate failures to read the room since Microsoft handed Don Matrick a microphone and allowed him to discuss how the Xbox One probably wasn't gonna suit someone serving on a nuclear submarine.
So this isn't black and white, right? Not all game journalists
This is all right game back in the day.
Are siding with Sony. But what I'm about to show you, well, you decide. Amid the backlash to Sony's decision, just 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 copies in the US so far this year. Only 7 PlayStation games have sold.
Do you see a pattern? Do you see a pattern forming here, guys?
More than 100K physical copies this year in the US. Did you know only 7 PlayStation games have managed more than 100,000 physical sales in the US this year? Only 2 PlayStation games have managed more than 10,000 physical sales in the US during the week ending on July 11th. Okay, stop. Why does this sound like one of those nonsense statistics?
When says, oh no, 30. Don't cry. It'll be okay. Don't worry. They'll take you for more of your money and rob you blind. Oh, well, okay, then I won't cry because that's what I want. I want them to take all my money for shittier, less finished, minimal viable product games. I can't wait for that day.
On the screen during an NFL football game, like Marshawn Lynch has rushed for more yards during the third quarter on Thursday Night Football in the second week of December.
Oh, 100% disposal. 100%. I know you're new in my channel, but we've talked about this all the time. I said it's not a Sony versus Xbox versus Nintendo thing. This is, I call them the chocolatiers. You ever watch the new movie with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Or what was it called? It was called Willy Wonka. It was called Wonka. Okay. The 3 chocolatiers in that are Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. They're all working in the same business. They all want the exact same thing, right? And everyone else is like, rah, rah, Xbox, rah, rah, Sony, rah, rah, Nintendo. And I'm like, these guys are all in the same business. They all want to do the exact same thing. Stop it.
And statistics thrown on the screen during an NFL football game, like Marshawn Lynch has rushed for more yards during the third quarter on Thursday Night Football in the second week of
This is a perfect thing. This is what he's saying here. It's exactly what's happening right now.
December than any other kicker has in the last 2 days. I don't know about you, but I like my psyops a little less.
Remember, Water, they're doing this for us. They're doing this for us. The reason they're taking physical games away from us is because of convenience. It's easier for you to get all the games that you want. They're not taking the games away from you because of business and greed. They're taking it away from you because you don't know what you want. You only want digital, and they're only going to give you that. It's so ridiculous.
Obvious. I prefer if you shatter the puzzle and then let me put the pieces together, as opposed to just being like, yeah, this is how I'm trying to trick you. So why are these specific statistics being highlighted by multiple outlets? Coincidence?
But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
Well, it's because these 2 points of data,
Well, thank you, Helldivers 2 video. Appreciate you.
are the crux underpinning
That's right, Crowded. Because they love us.
the entire argument that globally PlayStation needs to abandon physical games and that medium should die globally. And as Eurogamer points out, while this is focused on the US, it is one of the largest in the video game industry by revenue spent. As such, consumer trends there have considerable influence. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. Basically, you're saying the whole world shouldn't be allowed to own games that they—
That's right. That's right. Because of this one place, because a majority of people are buying digital, nobody in the world is allowed to buy physical anymore. Because they're just saving us from ourselves. It's so nice of Sony and Xbox and Nintendo. It's so nice.
And that physical media deserves to die because Americans are fat and lazy
That's right.
and unwilling to drive to GameStop. Interesting angle.
It is an interesting angle.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that last part, but it's because the digital market in the US doesn't sell as well that we're gonna shut down all other markets. Okay, that's the argument, and that's what this data supports. Interesting. Now, I'm not oblivious to the irony
I like what you did there. It's good.
that someone from Europe wrote an article embracing and emulating one of our most honored stereotypes. Yes, as Americans, we too often forget that there are other countries on planet Earth.
Ron says the secondhand market is just as big as the digital market. Why not show the numbers, Sony? Because that would push against it. Would still be a small number, but it's still like 20-25%. Remember all these years, the past years, they're like, oh, we only can follow the people that are buying physical media, and that's in Europe because America doesn't show physical media. Well, I don't know. Just imagine this, chat. If I hid my subscriber count and I hid how many people are watching me live, and I just tell you millions of people are watching me, would you doubt it? Would you doubt it? If I was hiding my subscriber count and hiding the actual live number and I just said, millions of people are watching me. I am the best YouTuber out there. Millions and billions of people watch me every single day. You'd be like, what? Is that a trust me bro moment? Yeah, it would be a trust me bro moment because they don't share the numbers because they don't want to share the numbers. Because if they share the numbers, they only share the numbers they want to share because otherwise it would break the narrative. And the narrative is, it's like 1% buy physical. 1%. Not the 20-25% in the entire world. Just like 1%. We're just going to shove this underneath the rug. Don't worry about it. Buy digital. It's fucking retarded.
We got 50 states, man, and some of us can't even name all of them. Look, I've seen tons of tweets and articles saying the same bullshit. Only 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 physical copies in this part of the world so far this year. There are 5 qualifying modifiers to this statistic.
Just 5?
The more qualifying statements or modifiers you have for a statistic, the more narrow its applicability becomes.
Exactly.
Right? What they're referencing is a study for why digital games should be shut down in the US. What's not included is why it has to include 121 other countries, 62% of the globe.
Just let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the 120 countries that PlayStation doesn't put their thing in because they can't sign up for stuff. Let's not talk about Helldivers 2 where they stopped it in 120 countries. Let's not stop and talk about Marvel token because it's not in 120 other countries.
Give you the percentage. The data they're referencing does not support the conclusion that they're reaching. Halo reaching! And the data they are presenting is an omission by lie, as Twitter community notes has been ruthlessly
Let's read some of these, shall we? This is a community note. Sony is pushing an all-digital future without being upfront about its limits. PlayStation 5 downloads can be played from USB. Expanding storages requires an expansive NVMe's SSD digital games are licensed, not true ownership. Physical discs preserve choice, competition, and ownership. The next one down here says Circana reports U.S. physical game spending rose 3% year over year to $1.6 billion in 12 months ending in May of 2026. First increase since 2009, driven by Nintendo Switch 2. Rhythm Heaven game grew about 393,378 physical copies in the first week in Japan. Circana data covers U.S. physical PlayStation 5 sales only, not global sales. Physical markets can be stronger in Europe, Japan, and elsewhere, highlighting that 100,000 U.S. physical thresholds ignore some titles have sold millions worldwide, making the comparison incomplete and misleading.
informing people of
Sony is pushing a digital format, eliminating physical media and closing its PlayStation 3 and PS Vita stores, will also severely damage the second-hand market and retail outlets. The EU has sanctioned Apple for comparable practices regarding digital rights.
on basically every single tweet PlayStation has been posting. Physical games is a global problem. It's not isolated in the United States, despite what this European gaming news outlet thinks. So how about I give you one statistic that these articles all conveniently left out. Based on PlayStation's own metrics, in 2025, they sold an estimated 60 to 70 million physical
Sony sold roughly 70 million physical game copies worldwide during a fiscal year of 2025. The total accounted for 22% of the overall full game software sales, while digital downloads made up a remaining 78%. Well, that's because you're also, I know it's crazy, but you're also forcing people to get digital. Just saying. You have a majority of people own digital consoles with no disk drives. So they can't even put a disc if they wanted to. So now when they say more people are buying digital games, is because they have no choice. They have to. Hence why I bought an Xbox Series X. Because if I want to buy digital, I can buy digital. And if I want to buy physical, I can buy physical. But if I can't buy physical because you're no longer making physical, then you're making me, force me, right? I have no options. I have no choice. I have to buy digital.
copies of their games across the world. And they have stated that physical sales represent about 20% of their revenue.
Imagine getting rid of 20% of anything. Total full games sold, 317.9 million copies globally across PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Physical shares, 22%, approximately 70 million discs shipped and sold. Digital shares, 78%, approximately 247.9 million digital copies. Now, I would love to know, because they're putting it across PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, I want to know how many people are buying digital on PlayStation 4. I would love to know how big this percentage is. Because of 22%, how big of that percentage is just from PlayStation 4? Because they still have 58% of the people still on PlayStation 4. They haven't upgraded.
Can someone explain the business logic of that? It's like, business is going great. Let's shut down a fifth of it. Yet despite how little this data actually says, some journalists are running with it. PlayStation fans are...
Of course they are. Of course they are. Polygon is one of the companies that's owned by the other company that owns 7 other companies that has to get per click. They're paid by click now. They don't get paid by the article. So they have to have the most the most toxic title possible to get engagement, because that's how they make money.
They're still furious about physical discs, but the data proves Sony is right to kill them. Polygon, what the fuck, man? Sony's planned shift away from producing physical discs for PlayStation might be unpopular, but new sales data has highlighted
so stupid. And these people that just repeat this stuff, because that's all it is. One person makes an article, everybody else repeats it, and nobody thinks for themselves. They're like, yeah, that's what it is. That's what they said.
The stark business reality behind it. The stark business reality, the data proves Sony is right to kill them. Like think about what they're saying. It's like, I just think of some bread company CEO sitting there like, man, we're not selling nearly as many croissants in Spain as we are in France. So let's
just stop selling croissants in Spain, right?
shut down our business in France.
It's just
So I'm not sure what Eurogamer, IGN, Polygon, or any of these other outlets are trying to prove. I'm so confused by their messaging that it's like we can just...
Oh, did you guys see that one of the guys, I forget the guy's name, he used to work for Sony. And he just took Astrobot and he has it running. I don't know if he did it or someone else did it, but there's an emulator that took Astrobot and put it on the Steam machine. And he took a picture of it and said, I'm enjoying Astrobot on my Steam machine. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
Completely disregard this argument. It doesn't mean anything. But there's one thing I keep hearing around the block that really bothers me. It's the idea that Sony will not back down. There's a 0% chance they'll reverse.
And that's what they want you to believe. Too big to fail. They've already shut down the studio or the manufacturing company. They're not going to turn around. They're not going to change. They're not going to do it. They're not. They're not, chat. So stop fighting. Stop talking about it. Don't do anything about it. Just let Sony get behind you with chloroform and put on your... and knock your ass out, okay? Because whatever you do, it won't change. It won't change anything. So don't do it, chat. Don't do it. Don't fight. Don't say it. Don't speak it. Don't say anything. Just let it happen. No. Sorry. Not this guy.
Course. Analysts have insisted that there is 0 chance Sony will change its mind. Sony has no inclination to concede any ground to this uproar. Industry experts point out the smart business sense behind this decision. It remains unlikely that Sony will U-turn on this. A grand reversal of Sony's plans is exceedingly unlikely.
Unlikely. Doesn't happen. Never going to happen. No company in the history of customer feedback and complaints has changed ever before, except almost every company that said something stupid and we had pushback on, they changed their ways. But again, don't do it. Don't say anything.
I won't change my mind because I don't have to. I won't change my mind on anything, regardless of the facts that are set out before me. I'm dug in, and I'll never change.
Now, these articles aren't necessarily siding with Sony. They're just pointing out what Sony wants you to believe.
Well, of course. I don't believe that, but this is just the way it is, guys. It's just the way it is. Horse armor. Horse armor. It's just horse armor. It's just one thing. It's just a small little microtransaction. Not a big deal. Here we are 12 years later. Everything has microtransactions. Everything has macro transactions. Everything is just a full price game within a game itself. But it only started with one. That
resistance is futile, but I find it odd that this statement is not followed by, and here's why they're wrong. That's missing. If you're wondering why game journalist has become a pejorative slur and insult, this is why.
I have a question, guys. Why do you think game journalism has gone from writing articles to having their own YouTube channels? I don't know. Maybe because they see the writing on the wall. Maybe, have you noticed a lot of guys that used to work for the companies have left those companies and started their own YouTube channel? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I don't know. I'll just let that sit with you guys for a bit. Right? I'll let you guys sit with that for a bit.
It's because some of these journalists and outlets seem to have forgotten that they're supposed to advocate for the customer. And yet so often they instead try to minimize the real issues.
But me personally, you know, and you can call me part of the problem, I actually prefer having digital games.
Sony isn't even trying to convince us that the end of physical media is somehow a good thing. They simply want you to believe that it's inevitable.
That's exactly right. They got to toe the line. They got to tell you that this is an unbeatable fight. It's an uphill battle. You're never going to beat it. So just submit.
That is the sound of inevitability.
I mean, how could they convince us this is a good thing when they put out a company-wide gag order? Have you ever heard of such a thing?
Well, no. No. But it doesn't mean it wasn't happening.
Things are going great at Sony. Oh, what's that? The Dutch have filed a $500 million lawsuit. No big deal. Both Sony and presumably some game journalists are trying to sow the seeds of doubt and defeatism in your mind. Do not water those weeds. That's the real message. The end of physical media is inevitable, and that we
can't fight nothing.
Sony is trying to act like they couldn't give two shits about our voices.
They're calling your bluff. And the reason they're doing this is because they are the majority holder of consoles in the console space, right? They're calling your bluff because 93 million people have a PlayStation and they get to control what the narrative is. And you just like, oh yeah, well, that's it then. That's it then.
Boycotts, petitions, protests, or lawsuits. None of that will change anything. Now, this is a tactic known as suppression.
Yes.
It's used when a fire is too big and can't
Firefighters do this all the time. In militaries, they do this all the time. Suppress a fire. Keep it down, right?
realistically be put out. So what they're trying to do is suppress the fire and make it smaller and then hope it dies on its own. If we ignore the elephant in the room, it'll starve and die on its own. But that's our cue that we need to...
That's a good analogy there by Ackman.
...add more fuel. We got to keep this fire lit like our homeboy Gwen, let me tell you. I don't know, man. After reading some of this, I'm starting to feel hopeless. Maybe they're right. Sony is a stubborn company, and when they make a decision, they don't reverse it.
And now, Sony has reversed its decision and will be...
I love the setup there. PlayStation backtracks on PlayStation 3 Vita after fan backlash.
Keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices.
Hold up, they
fought that years ago. What year was that? Did they tell you what year it was? I don't know what year it was. Okay, but now they've closed it.
Tried shutting down.
Oh wait, what was that?
Operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices.
Hold up, they actually...
April 19th, 2021, people pushed back, and all of a sudden, magically, the PlayStation 3 store stayed open for another 5 years. Wow, that's crazy. But, you know, it's not because of the backlash and people talked about it. Nope, it wasn't anything to do with that. They just did it on the goodwill. They're like, oh, we changed our mind.
Tried shutting down those stores 6 years ago? The same ones they just took offline a week ago?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, you weren't supposed to see that. Okay, you got me. Maybe Sony has responded to our feedback once. But what did that backlash even accomplish?
Helldivers 2, just 2 years ago? Hey, we need you to sign up for PlayStation. No, we're not going to. All right, we changed our minds. We don't want you to sign up. We won't do it again until we do it again.
It only delayed the closure of the PS3 and Vita stores for, what, 5, 6, 7 years?
Right.
And what does it really matter if one or two storefronts avoided closure and managed to stay in business for another 5 years? That's only half a decade. What's a decade?
Yeah. Hey, it only stayed up for 5 more years. It's only a half a decade. How much money did they make in that time?
Decade? Just 1/10 of a century.
Very true. Very true. Only 1/10 of a century. That's very small, very minute.
But a century is just 10% of a millennium.
Very true. Century is only 10%. So 10% is a low number.
So you see, that backlash didn't actually accomplish anything.
That's right. Worthless backlash. I love it.
Is what I'm telling myself, right? So, okay, besides that one time, which didn't matter, Sony has never reversed a major decision like this.
Following a major backlash from the Helldivers 2 community, Sony has reversed its decision to require PC players to link a PSN account.
I'm starting to think.
So that's 2 backlashes that got changed.
I think that maybe the gaming community has a long documented history of successful petitions and protests. Okay, I forgot about that, but yeah, okay. Maybe with enough pressure, Sony has backed down, but not this time. They are so...
Yep, not this time. Don't do it, chat. Don't backlash, don't speak up, don't say anything, just keep consuming.
Confident that they don't even care if you cancel your PlayStation Plus subscription.
And now players are canceling their PlayStation Plus subscriptions en masse.
Uh-oh. What's happening? Well, then someone will come in, a trash night will come in and be like, well, it's only a couple of people. It's not everybody. They're fine.
Asked to send a message, but experts claim it won't do any good.
Oh, the doubting. The doubting.
Yeah, take that. How does that feel? I mean, how naive are you? Did you honestly think that
we're gonna boycott Sony, but right before Wolverine comes out, because we don't want to boycott them when the game's coming out, because we don't want to make a stand.
has ever been a widespread coordinated boycott that actually accomplished something? Look at Xbox. They're like 10 times bigger than Sony. They just jacked.
Look how young. Look how young Phil Spencer
look at
was. Look at Phil Spencer now. He was beat to shit at Xbox.
They're like 10 times bigger than Sony. They just jacked up the price of Game Pass to $30 a month, and $30 a month is where that price is gonna stay.
Microsoft has finally dropped the price of its Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, that's right. Gamers didn't want to pay the $30, and 4 million, 5 million people left, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. We're kidding. We're going back, but we're still going to charge $3 more.
Subscription plan. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, its top tier plan, is now $22.99 a month.
You know what? Screw pessimistic nihilism. I'm a delusional optimist now. We can beat this thing. And even if we can't, what have we got to lose? What was that phrase people...
Yeah, we have really nothing to lose if you fight against this, right? Because if you're against it and you don't support them anymore, guess what? You have every single console and game that's ever been created since the beginning of time of gaming that you could go buy, pick up, play, okay? You have thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of games the entire span of gaming. Or just the last 5 years alone, if you get a PC, there is 52,000 games that you could download. Now, obviously, 48,000 of those games are probably garbage, okay? And 2,000 of those games in the last 5 years are worth your time, and that would be more games than you could ever play in your entire life. Just saying. Just saying. You don't need Sony. You don't need Microsoft. You don't need Nintendo. You could literally stop playing games today and play a back catalog of games that have already been created because they're already there.
Kept saying 2 years ago during the Helldivers 2 fiasco, we dive together or not at all. Say no to Sony. Those words helped us all manage democracy. Goes to war with $1 billion company. Wins. We've beaten both Sony and Microsoft before. Now granted, Microsoft's wounds to Xbox were mostly self-inflicted, but our mass boycott...
First of all, I would like to put this in Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Xbox, Microsoft try to make what is happening in the game industry today, okay? And gamers pushed back so much that the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S and X have suffered for the last 13 years. Because of gamers pushing back on the bullshit they were trying to do with the DRM and stuff like that 13 years ago. And we still give Xbox shit, but for some fucking strange reason, Sony does it, and everyone's like, no, just can't do it. Just can't do it. It's impossible. Sony is just too powerful. Bro, what are we talking about?
Boycott and cancellation of Game Pass made Xbox and Microsoft bleed.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Every movement needs a catchy slogan, and 2 years later, we have our winner. No disc, no buy. We dive together or not.
Here's the thing. The only reason people are saying no disc, no buy, they're okay with digital. They're okay to have digital and physical. They want choice. You take this away and it's only this, they're like, nope, I'm out. I'm out.
Not at all.
Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you.
I love that line from
our winner. No disc, no buy. We dive together or not at all.
Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you.
That's it.
Did you know that 62% of the globe, or 121 countries, are unable to create...
There you go. See? 122 countries.
PSN accounts, meaning they cannot access or buy any games from Sony or PlayStation in this all-digital future. I'm getting deja vu here. Does that number sound familiar?
Justin Up says, I think the pushback was easier because no one owned either console yet. Sony is fucking is wild. We have things already. Here's the thing. Just stop buying. Don't buy Wolverine. Don't buy Intergalactic. Don't buy their next game that comes out. Just take what you have right now in your PlayStation library and enjoy what you have. Don't purchase anything future from them. And if you still want a game, then look into other means to game, if that's handheld or PC or another console, because if one company fucks you, you still have a choice to go somewhere else. That's it. Right? If you truly don't care and you're just like, whatever, then just embrace it. But if you're a person that doesn't like what's happening, stand up, say it. Don't support it. Nothing's going to happen to you. This is not going on your personal record like it's in high school and someone's going to be like, oh, you didn't buy the next PlayStation 6? You're despicable. No, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks of what I'm buying or what I'm playing. Okay? If I don't want to support something, I don't support something. If I want to support something, I support it. If I feel the company is fucking me over, I'm not buying it. It's that simple. Right? No one's going to buy a PlayStation 6. No one's going to buy an Xbox. No one should buy any of that stuff. Let them burn. If they stop making consoles, oh well, they're not making consoles anyway. They want you to go to cloud.
121 countries? Oh, it's because Sony tried this same thing just 2 years ago. But instead of trying to block one game, now they want to block every PlayStation game. And this list of 121 countries is the exact same list that they were trying to block Helldivers 2 in. Not a single one has changed. So I have several questions, Sony. What is your beef with Madagascar? Is there some grudge you hold against Turkmenistan?
Show me where Madagascar hurts you, Sony.
Why? I find it hard to believe that Vietnam traumatized you in some way. Look, the point is, not even game journalists.
Kevin, I've talked about this for years. I do a podcast on Thursday nights called GXG. Okay, I talked about this years and years ago that we're going cloud, and everyone thought I was fucking crazy. And you know what? I'm okay if everyone thinks I'm fucking crazy, because I know I'm not fucking crazy. And here we are. Everyone else is fucking crazy.
Can figure out a convincing way to spin this horrible idea. Well, would you look at that?
Attention gamers, Sony's PlayStation Network is currently experiencing a major outage,
rendering thousands of digital games unplayable. This all-digital future seems really convenient, doesn't it?
The only evidence I need to know or have is Sony taking 551 movies away from people. That's all the information I need.
As much as I hate DDoSing, it does illustrate a massive flaw in the system, right? If Sony isn't the one shutting off access to your own games or movies, then some random person can do it too. Isn't that a comforting thought? On a structural level, neither Sony or Microsoft seem capable of supporting an all-digital future because even Xbox's servers went down recently. So even more reason to oppose this idea, as if we needed more reasons. We have all the reasons in the world to hate this, but Sony just can't stop there. You see, they have a new patent,
Yeah, Saint, to think about this, right? And the reason cloud is not a big deal for people that are playing movies and music off the cloud and books off the cloud is because they can still go buy physical stuff. They can go buy a physical movie. They can go buy a physical disc for music. They can go buy a book, okay? All of a sudden, right, games are completely different because they're getting rid of physical completely, and they want to go all digital, and they want to go in the cloud, right? And everyone's like, oh, well, movies do it, music does it, books do it. Yeah, but they're still physical. There's still Barnes and Nobles. I can still go to a bookstore. I can still go to a library. I can still pick up the physical thing. I can still go, there are record stores I can still buy my music from if I want to, okay? I can still buy DVDs. I can still order my DVDs, right? I can still watch the film, right? People literally pay premium prices for Netflix to stream it from the cloud to have shittier versions of the actual thing. And people are okay with this. They're like, oh, I'm getting 4K. You're not getting 4K. Because it says 4K doesn't mean it's actual 4K. But the casual person doesn't know, and they don't really give a shit. It just says 4K, and they're like, well, Netflix wouldn't lie to me. They wouldn't lie that I got 4K, would they? No, I love Netflix. Netflix is awesome.
Controller with digital buttons.
Because a very strange patent was found, a design document.
I'm sorry. we didn't really cover this when it came out. They're having no physical buttons on the controller. Dystopian future where you're going to have to yell at your TV screen for ads, and you're going to have to put your dick in the machine to biometrics so you can play it and give your first name and last name and your firstborn child, and you're going to play digital games with digital keys. Amazing future we have.
About the PlayStation 6 controller, and it doesn't have buttons.
The cast of Monty Python is running this company.
100%.
They don't even want us to own buttons. Do they think people are gonna get bored of hating on Sony? Bro, I'm watching this train wreck every day. Now, Alana Pierce came out with a very good video, revealing some very important intel. Now, there is one single thing I disagree with her on.
But today, let's specifically talk about PlayStation and why they just did something that everyone hates, that they knew we would all hate.
I fucking hate that she said this, right? Because all of a sudden, everyone's like, of course this is the way it was going to happen.
The enormous public backlash that has come from that, and why none of that backlash, no amount of public outrage or petitioning will be able to change it.
Fuck you, and fuck your opinions, okay? I don't hate her as a person. To just say that no matter what you do, okay, is bullshit, right? Because every time people speak up, doesn't matter in what field or anything, okay? Politics, school, your gaming, movies, anytime someone speaks up, something gets changed and fixed. That's what the whole government is about. If you don't like something, speak about it. Okay? If you don't like what's going on, you speak about it. But for some strange fucking reason, these journalists, these people that work in the business are like, nope, just take it. Bend over, raw, okay, and just take it.
I may not agree with your theory, but I am intrigued by it. Even if you're someone who genuinely believes that none of our efforts can change Sony's mind, aren't you curious if it will?
No, they're not. They're not, Ackman, because they just want convenience. They don't want to think about it, right? None of us really want to think about anything. We just want to do our job, come home, and play video games, watch a movie, read a book, listen to music, relax, get off my property, don't touch me, don't talk to me. I just want to do the thing. But they can't let that go. They're like, how do we get this? How do we get $12? How do we get $20? How do we get $80? How do we get $100? How do we get $120?
I mean, how many rubber bands does it take to snap their watermelon? Don't you want to find out?
That's a good analogy there. If I told you a rubber band could break a watermelon, you would think, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. But if you put 100 rubber bands on a watermelon, it breaks it. It breaks it. You would be like, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. 100 rubber bands broke it. So in that analogy, how many fucking people does it take to break Sony? How many people does it take to break the industry? Okay, could be 100, could be 1,000, could be 1,000,000. But they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. They want you to scare you because just like governments, they don't want big groups forming. Because if big groups form, then they have to back down.
Oops. Helldivers 2 trained us for this moment. I think we should all collectively push against this in all the various ways that we can. Let's test this theory to its absolute limits. Folks, we have a year and a half to see how deep Sony is willing to dig their own grave.
Yeah, this is a game of chicken. And this should be an easy game of chicken for the gamers.
And the morally correct thing to do is to dunk on them every single opportunity you have.
Morebear says, in reality, I don't think people really care about it at all, outside of the very small minority. We will see what Wolverine sales look like. That could prove me wrong. Here's the thing. There is lots and lots of people that are sheep. And there's not many that are shepherds. Okay? But when shepherds move away, and that's the minority, when the shepherds move away from something, and the sheep are like, well, what happened? Why did the shepherds leave? They get curious, and the sheep start walking towards the shepherds. Why? Because they're fucking sheep. They don't think for themselves. They don't know anything. They're like, oh, 4K, I'm going to buy 4K. Oh, that's the new console, I'm going to buy the new console. Oh, new game, I'm going to buy the new game. But the shepherds, the people that actually know about the stuff and go, don't buy this, don't play that, this is a bad game, this is the thing. Everyone's like, They're the sheep. The sheep follow the shepherd no matter what. It might take them some time. But the sheep always follow the shepherds.
So I really just wanted to address this idea that everything is hopeless, give up, and just let Sony have their way with you, right? Because I think that's bullshit. We were able to force EA, of all companies.
Doesn't change. Can't happen. Remember, can't fight the big companies.
To abandon a loot box monetization system.
Surprise mechanics. There were surprised mechanics.
That doesn't even sound like it's true. Now, I'm genuinely passionate about this fight for physical ownership, and I don't plan on just leaving it at this video. I'm going to try and periodically post stuff on my second channel, Actman TV, and I have a little strategy guide for how we can fight back against Sony that I plan to upload there. As I said before, Sony's position is indefensible. These few game journalists referenced one obscure study originating.
Remember, the companies don't want digital rights. This is why Stop Killing Games they're trying to fight it as much as they can. Because they don't want to try to put any more effort into trying to make gaming. They just want to put the minimal viable product in for the biggest profit. And our job as customers is to get that product for the lowest price possible. And that is how business and the market conditions, okay? Open market's an open market.
From Blue Sky, and it doesn't prove anything other than maybe there's an argument that they could shut down physical games in the United States, but that argument is not applicable to the rest of the fucking planet, okay? So there still is no real argument in favor of destroying and shutting down all of the physical production of games that Sony has historically done for the last 2.5 decades, right? We're still back to square one, looking for an actual explanation as to why this is happening. Now, until that day comes when Sony unplugs their...
Someone should come out with a console, and they should call it the DRM. All right? Digital rights machine. And they only deal with publishers that want to make their game where anyone that buys their game, they own. That's it. It's just a machine that only plays digital rights management where you own the actual game, like GOG, right? But it's a console. And they, no matter what you buy on this machine, you will constantly own it. They would open up the market. They'd be like, holy shit. Why didn't anyone think about this? Right? GOG does it, but you don't own an actual thing, right? Console guys don't know anything. But if they made a console and put it in front of you and said, this console, anything you buy on it is yours. They'd be like, I'll buy that.
Ears and says, here's why we're doing this. All we can...
The Soldier Boy console.
assume is that this is done purely out of greed and to fuck all of us over. I should point out that analyst IGN and other outlets are quoting is Dr. Serkan Toto, CEO of Japanese...
Oh, 100% Saint. If we don't have the digital rights management, now GOG's there, Steam's there, a lot of Steam games are also, you can download it and stuff and whatnot, right? But if console ever fell, or if console just merged into PC, well then you would have the same problem, just we're delaying it by 10, 15 years.
Game industry consulting firm Canton Games.
Because if Sony and Microsoft become PCs, and Nintendo comes in, it's a PC, we're talking like 10, 15 years from now. The PC market would now be apprehended by these console guys, okay, that would come over and try to swing the it's almost like people moving from California to Texas to try to make Texas more like California, and so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? People come over and they start to try to change the things, and companies would do this. Sony and Microsoft would dump billions of dollars in this to do it.
And he suggested that even if 500,000 people can't...
Crowded says, PC is an open platform, though. It's not like console. Nobody owns PC. I get that. And what I'm telling you is if these guys made PCs and got into that PC market, they would try to push it because the chocolatiers, they would be there and try to persuade things to go into that direction, right? At that point, Steam, Gabe Newell will be like, I'm out. I'm good. He'd probably sell Steam to one of the other guys. Because he's like, I'm good. I don't need to be in this shit anymore.
Canceled their PS Plus subscriptions in protest. It would be just a drop in the ocean for Sony. Just give up, guys. Your efforts are fruitless. You know, they've already recovered from the $400 million Concord blunder. I mean, they can take more financial hits. They don't care about those. And whatever happened with Bungie, that's cool too. And if 500,000 of you want to unsubscribe, Sony couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's the message?
That's what they had. Well, you can unsubscribe. They don't care. Okay, until they do.
That's horrible. Now, there is a great investigation on this independent analyst and others from Reddit user iRevenant. I'll link it in the description, but to quote his conclusion, the strongest honest case for going all digital is manufacturing savings and e-waste reduction. Sony is barely making that case, likely because they're lobbying against those exact environmental
Exactly, Saint. It's about choice. It's about choice. It's always been about choice.
Regulations in the EU. Instead, they're leaning on financial consultants to launder the story through the gaming press as consumer preference. Have you ever come up with a theory in your head and then you find someone else saying the exact same thing? You're like, okay, maybe I am onto something. I'm not crazy. So the point is,
see what let me give you another example if you guys don't understand what Saint's saying. So let's say Xbox changes, again, we're hypothetical what if moment. Okay. There's Steam, there's GOG, there's Epic, but then all of a sudden, PlayStation and Microsoft come in. But now there's no more consoles. Nintendo, let's say, is even on there. Everyone's on PC. Every single person's on PC. Okay? Everything's digital now. Everything's digital. Now it's no longer the console war, it's the platform war, right? Now, Steam has its exclusives on there because they don't really have to fight for it. It's just developers are making games for PC only because that's what they wanted to do. They're not locked in because they made a contract with Steam, right? So what happens then if everyone is on PC, everything's a PC, PlayStation starts making deals just like they're doing on console where only games are played on the PlayStation launcher. And Xbox's only games are played on the PlayStation or the Xbox launcher, right? We're not talking about first-party titles now. We're talking about third-party games bought by the actual companies to put them on their platform, just their platform. Sort of like what Borderlands did with Epic Game Store, and they didn't want to put it on Steam, and that backfired in their faces for Borderlands 3. Okay, it was like, 6 months? Was it 6 months or 12 months? They were exclusive on Epic. No one bought it, okay? Not until it came over, and then by that time, people didn't give a shit about it. Okay, that's the problem if everyone goes that direction. Because to get advantage in that system, they would have to start paying certain companies, certain publishers to only make the game on their launcher.
There's a high chance this consulting firm who released this data has financial incentives tied to Sony's killing of the disk drive. It would be beneficial for them if that does happen, which would be a massive conflict of interest and reason alone to completely discard this logic. So we're back to square one. They have not proposed a real argument. But there you have it, Sony's official response channeled through the voices of a few game journalists, and it is just as laughable as if they had made no statement at all. I hope everyone who watches this continues the fight for video game ownership in whatever meaningful ways you can contribute. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone.
So there you go. Act Man's almost at 2 million subscribers. If you're not subscribed to him and you like that video, go check out his channel. He's got a lot of other videos out there. Links in the description down below. Yeah, I just love how people think that can't fight it, can't do it, it's impossible, don't bother, let's not deal with it. Sony's just gonna win, just to submit. Cool story, bro. If that's what you want to do, cool. What's going on, Drummond? How much is in your backlog of games? Also, it seems that you and your friend Lono have different views on the Sony situation. Are you willing to discuss with Lono on your channel? On your channel? No. We've gone our separate ways. There's no bad blood between us. It's just we're our separate ways. He has his channel. I have mine. Yeah. I'm trying to make my own thing. I don't want to be associated with anybody, right? I go on Fake Wizard News and stuff like that, but I don't want to be associated with anybody as, oh, well, this person that I'm my own thing. I've been my own person the entire time. I've done my content the entire time. So that's what we're going to do. We had some good conversations. I love going on that show. I love being on Lono's podcast. All right. I used to love doing the Rageous Round Table. I used to love doing the Friday talks and stuff like that. I absolutely loved it. But I also don't want, this is not what this channel is. This channel is not about hating on Xbox or Sony. I don't have a fight with one or the other. I hate people that are Sony ponies or an Xbox alike. You want to be that? We joke about it in here. If you want to be an Xbox, you want to be a Sony pony, cool. I'm a gamer. I protect the gamers. I talk about gaming the entire time. I talk about what's bad in the industry. I talk about what's good in the industry. I talk about how corporations are absolutely full of shit. I will never take the stand of corporate bootlicker. Never. I will never be a corporate bootlicker. I am for the people. If I was running for mayor or president, I'd be shaking hands, holding babies. Okay? Because corporations are full of shit. And they'll lie to you at all times just to get your, right? They have to make a product. They make a product. They sell the product. Customers, we buy the product, give them money, and that's it. That's the transaction. I don't need them in my pocket every 5 fucking seconds telling me to log in, do all this, do all the other stuff. Fuck you. I'll play the game if I want to play your game. I don't want to play your game. I don't want to play your game. If I want to buy it 5 years from now, I'll buy it 5 years from now. But if you're going all digital and you're never going to put it on sale, I want nothing to do with you. Right? Not because I don't like digital, because I don't like not having choice. Jesse says, 30, we already in the platform wars. That's right. We've been in the platform wars. Kevin George says, I have to be honest, 30. I was very shocked on how little support I got from my fellow PlayStation friends. For where? Just in general? I know Mike is a real gamer because he's saved me money on more than one occasion. That's all I try to do. I'm not trying to tell you to stop buying stuff. I'm trying to tell you just to make sure that stop buying broken, buggy games. My whole thing is against AAA gaming. AAA gaming in the last decade has gone to shit. Everyone thinks it's fantastic, but you're getting less of a product now than you were 10 years ago. Mo says, I'm loyal to my wallet. That's right. All right, the next thing we're going to do, and I know someone will clip something and be like, oh, there's beef against Lono. And no, has nothing to do with anything like that. I want to be my channel. I know what I've been doing this entire time, and I've failed. I'm constantly failing on YouTube, but this is the content that I want to make. This is what I would like to do. I'm true to myself, never changed. Never been anyone else but myself the entire time I've had my YouTube channels. 30 and Still Gaming, 30 NSG, all this other stuff. I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care about any other stuff. I literally do this because I like talking. I like talking to you guys. I like getting other people's opinions and stuff. But when people come in and they start to argue over stupid shit, right? Over stupid shit, and they start disrupting the channel where we have a good community, right? I don't care. I'll just mute you. We'll move on. Right? This is not we're not debating. There's no debating here. Right? I give you my thoughts and opinions, you get your thoughts and opinions, and then we move on. Other people come in because of other channels and they think that this is the same thing, right? They try to push the buttons and stuff like that. I'm too old for that shit. That's all good, Kevin George. So I'm Mr. Luke. All right, the next thing we're going to watch, I thought this was pretty cool. I saw this this morning. I watched the first couple minutes, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. I haven't seen this before, but this is the Game Changers. But this is on a channel called Diamond Plus Documentary. They only have about 17,000 subscribers. The console that almost changed gaming forever. This is the history of Sega, okay? This is the history of Sega. I like learning stuff, right? This is a 42-minute long video, okay? If it's too slow, we'll do like 1.25, maybe 1.5. But we're going to watch this, and we're going to learn where Sega came from and what happened to Sega, right? And I think this is pertinent because what happened to Sega could happen to these companies that are in the ballpark right now, right? Which is Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo. No company is too big to fail, right? All they have to have is the wrong people in production, and they fuck it up for everybody else. So if you guys like it, link in the description down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's check this out.
You know how it goes. Pick out a game, pop it out of the case, give it a blow, then stare into that deep, data-rich, black abyss with a yearning to unlock its fantastic world within. This, as you know, is the PlayStation.
Did you guys know, I didn't know this, that Sega did try to team up with PlayStation before PlayStation made PlayStation?
The Sega PlayStation.
Yeah.
You can be the Sony Sega system or the Sega Sony system, doesn't matter.
Sega and Sony might have been a...
Could you imagine the world that we would live in today if they made that deal?
Match made in heaven.
We knew it was good.
We're gonna make a lot of money.
But here's the thing.
Sega's a company that does everything wrong.
Which is Microsoft right now. Sega's the company that does everything wrong, and Microsoft is that right now. They're just constantly stepping on rakes.
This is the story of how a Japanese company, Sega, or as it's pronounced in America,
Sega.
One of the most iconic lines. Remember that? Remember that? Then there was when you first booted up, Sega. That's what it was originally, right? And then it turned into Sega, like in the 90s.
Do I have to do this? Never quite got it right. But yet, Sega was in the running to become the biggest home video console in the world.
They wanted to crack Nintendo's monopoly on the market.
They were running a race littered with hurdles.
We were limping along.
And insurmountable triumphs.
Cool.
I don't think this channel is the original producers of this. I could be wrong. Maybe they started over and then made this channel because this was uploaded like 3 weeks ago.
We outsold the Nintendo system dramatically.
Sega becomes a force.
It's a race against time.
They had to move fast.
The screen couldn't catch up with them.
Technology.
Blast processing.
Based on something that's sort of true.
And the competition.
Nintendo completely dominated.
It's the hare versus the tortoise.
It's me.
Mario.
It's me, Mario. I'm gonna win.
Versus Sonic. And the winner will change video game history forever.
The hell does this have to do with gaming? Oh, they killed the deer for the antlers so they can make. All right, I got it. Yeah, Sega's whole thing growing up was they wanted to capture the teenage market, which is what PlayStation is now. They wanted to get the teenager to young adults.
Before we begin this race,
look at these fucking graphics back then, man.
To the top of the US console market, we need to make our way to the starting line. And this starting
Right, the Sega Saturn was the alternative after they didn't want to team up with PlayStation, with Sony, sorry.
Line leaves the US mainland behind, past the shopping centers and toy stores, and out across the Pacific, over the seas, and into the idyllic warm waters of... Oh, no, not Japan.
Sega is often thought of and is now a Japanese company, but it didn't start that way.
Exactly. To find Sega's origins, you need to go, down a bit. Yep, across, a bit more. There, Hawaii.
I didn't know that Sega started in Hawaii.
And the American military base.
It started as an American company called Standard Games.
Jack says, 30, are you going to watch the Xbox documentary soon? Where's that? Send me a link. We'll watch it tomorrow.
Games, which was intended to make slot machines for military bases, gambling machines, whatnot, pull a lever. But then, over time, the government was like, hey, maybe having slot machines on bases isn't the best idea.
Gambling is a vicious evil. It corrupts our youth and blights the lives of our adults.
And with that ruling, Standard Games made a little gamble of their own.
Because it was now illegal to make these games on American soil, they realized it was legal to make these games on Japanese soil, and became a...
I love stuff like that, Kevin. If it's a good book, I'll read it. I love educating myself on stuff like that.
Japanese-based company.
And it was founded by Hayao Nakayama and David Rosen.
And after a little complicated corporate restructuring, they became a Japanese company called
Service Games,
which was short.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know Service Games was Sega.
In the 1960s to
SE Service GA Games.
Or in other words,
Sega.
And with that,
is it me? I know this guy's very.
Or in
this
other
guy
words,
changed the whole
Sega.
landscape. He kind of looks like Joe Biden. He could pass as a Joe Biden clone.
And with that, Sega was at the starting line and about to enter the race to dominate the emerging.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Japanese video game market. And so far, they hadn't put a foot wrong.
Making machines in Japan and importing them to the United States.
Basically anything that was amusement that you could put a coin in, shuffle game.
That machine right there was in MGM Grand in Las Vegas for so many years. This is one of the greatest games that you could ever play in a casino. It was so much fun betting on the horses inside the casino.
Metal games, gotten electromechanical games. His first big hit was Periscope. They followed that up with games like Missile.
Oh my God, dude. I remember playing that as a kid.
And Jetpack.
And soon, this little American company that became a Japanese company would be engulfed by an American company again.
Sega was purchased by Gulf and Western.
The company at the time was...
Oh, wow. I forgot about Gulf and Western.
Just gobbling up companies left and right. And
obviously, I didn't know about any of this stuff until I was, like 20-something. I would read.
Becomes part of Gulf Western's umbrella of companies.
And under this large umbrella was, among other things, a Hollywood movie studio.
Yep.
At the time, Gulf and Western owned Paramount, and it was placed under the Paramount management in Los Angeles.
While still maintaining headquarters in Tokyo.
And Sega reported to Barry Diller and Mike Eisner,
creating a somewhat complicated arrangement as corporate instructions ping-ponged across the Pacific. Now, speaking of ping-pong,
video games as an industry, this is where we can say it really gets the ball rolling.
Or more precisely, as with almost every other game of the period, ponging.
You see, even back then, companies just stole from other people and just changed it just a little bit to compete, to try to get their market. This is why you get a Burger King across the street from McDonald's. This is why you get an ice cream shop across from another ice cream shop, because they don't want to go somewhere else to get that business. They want to steal the business from the people across the street.
Pongtron, a game that was not inspired by Pong. It was pretty much a ripoff.
With Pong, we were heavily copied.
But Sega also continues to make amusement machines. In the mid-1970s, it even gets into pinball in Japan.
And before too long,
Sega started opening arcades all over Japan.
Oh man, I could smell that room with cigarettes and cigars. I could just smell it right now. Like, I don't know how old you guys are, but I could just smell the stench of smoke, secondhand smoke in this picture.
They had a lot of good games. They had Pango,
Zaxxon,
Monaco GT,
Congo Bongo.
Sega.
When you used to walk in, we had this arcade called Grand Prix Racerama down in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, it was in Dania. Okay, you would walk in and there would be this smoky haze through the entire place. I'm like 4 years old. My dad's bringing me in. We got a pocket full of quarters, and you're just inhaling that cigarette and that cigar smoke. Oh my God, the memories, the nostalgia.
Would have one all-star Prima game.
No. Definitely not Sonic.
That was Frogger.
But this frog was unable to capture the hearts and minds of the
Parker Brothers
nation. Sega was in need of a more relatable character. You know, one like...
It's Quick Girl Barbie and Mod Hair Ken.
Oh, no, not Barbie. Tom Kalinske.
From Mattel.
Hi, I'm Tom Kalinske. Long ago, I was marketing director of Barbie.
And anything this guy touched back then, anything this guy touched made fucking money.
Just like Barbie, Tom Kalinske wore many hats.
Long ago, I was VP of Mattel when we did He-Man
and the Masters of the Universe.
It's the Masters of the Universe collection.
I was Senior Vice President of Marketing when we revived the Hot Wheels business.
Or, put quite simply,
it's a hell of a resume this guy's got.
I used to be CEO of Mattel.
Yep, Tom's a bigwig. And he also knows a thing or two about video games, having fought in the first console war.
Before I was CEO of Mattel, we invented the Intellivision.
It's got the most going for it.
To compete with Atari. Intellivision was quite successful for a while.
Atari never got the message. The company collapsed.
But then when Atari collapsed, Intellivision collapsed as well.
You know why Atari collapsed? Do you guys know? It's because they made too many shitty games on the platform. And they made way too many of them.
Which frankly irritated me, and I wasn't involved in the marketing of Intellivision.
But little did Tom know he was about to cross paths with an ally that would set the world on a course for the Second World Console War.
E.T. is one of them. Well, the most well-known one. But it was just tons and tons of games. They just made so many of them, and they didn't sell the consoles, and they went bankrupt.
Whether it was ready or not.
When I was at Mattel...
Real quick, guys. You get this beautiful mug, if you want. The water tastes the exact same from this mug from the cup you own right now. But if you like to support, you can get a nice little mug.
And Sega was at the time owned by Paramount Pictures. I met Hayao Nakayama because we would do some licensing back and forth.
Because it had access to Paramount properties. It took a Japanese arcade game it made called Zoom 909 and renamed it Buck Rogers and the Planet of Zoom.
Oh, fucking Buck Rogers, I remember that.
So, with all these big names behind them, Sega had a head start over the competition.
They released a game based on Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator.
But it turns out it was a false start, which was a reality that even Fonzie had to face.
Until the crash in '83, Sega retreats from the arcade business and goes back to Japan.
But it gets worse for Sega, and worse yet for Sega's umbrella parent.
The guy who ran Gulf Western has a heart attack and dies. And his successor, instead of buying, he believes in trimming the fat. So he's going to sell off all these things.
Meaning that Sega had once again become...
That's because the people that got in charge don't know what the fuck they're doing.
A fully Japanese-owned company.
83, 84, and 1985 in the US, it was really kind of a dead time.
And while dead times rang out for the video game industry...
Video game industry comes down to earth. I have a feeling we're going to see that title again soon.
In America...
The only difference is, though, back then you had to have a console. Today, Sega, if Sega did what it did and the Dreamcast was here, they would still be around, right? Because they could just, I've done this analogy before. Star Wars, Darth Vader slices Obi-Wan and says, if you strike me down, become more powerful than you ever could imagine. Okay? Now think about what Strauss-Zelnick just said, where he said in 3 years there'll be more cloud. Okay? That'll be the main thing. And he said, we'll have 10 times the power. Doesn't mean we'll be 10 times more profitable but they'll have 10 times more things. And then over time, it'll start building up. Because the digital era, there is no limits. There is no hardware to put into. You're just putting into the cloud servers, and they're already building the servers. They already have the servers, right? They just have to get upscale. And now people will be like, well, internet's just not there. They don't need everybody on planet Earth to have good internet. They just need to have the few pay for the many, right? Remember we used to talk about 20% gets 80% of the margin or the profit, okay? That's what they're looking for, okay? If everyone goes digital and everyone goes in the cloud, they'll slowly get it because no, you can't get anything else. Make the problem, sell the solution.
Japan, the video game home console market was abuzz with potential. And Sega found itself in a new race.
Japan didn't really have a crash because there was nothing to crash. It's also the bubble economy now. Right. The bubble economy is in like full swing in Japan. So people really have a lot of extra money to spend on superfluous kind of stuff like video games or the latest computers.
Now, Sega sidled up alongside its new competitor,
Family Computer,
rival Japanese video game maker, Nintendo.
The next game crash will be a console-only crash. Lead us to the all-digital hellscape. Yeah. Yep.
The race was on between two Japanese juggernauts.
Sega, they were creating a next-gen video game console.
Sega and the SG-1000 burst onto the scene on July 15th, 1983.
Sega video game
versus Nintendo's family computer.
Well, that Crowded, right? Crowd says, I think one of the reasons to do this digital-only push is because I already know that these consoles aren't going to sell because they're too expensive. Here's the thing. They're at the height of graphics. So graphics, the intensity of the machines can't get much more to see the visual change, right? 2, they're getting bigger, right? And they don't want to put them on discs or whatever. That's the thing. 3, they used to be 60 frames per second back in the day. These old games used to run 60 frames per second, right? Then they got worse. Now they're getting better again. But now they're going to give you cloud gaming. And when cloud gaming comes in and all digital comes in, you're not going to have the better experience. You're going to have a shittier experience yet again. And then they'll slowly build that up to be like, platform for Microsoft, we're giving you 60 frames per second cloud gaming now. We're giving you, and they'll build that up over the next couple of years, right? And what they can do is they can partition it. They can partition it and go, oh, well, if you're cloud gaming, you can get this many hours to play, or you can get 30 frames per second here, and if you go up a little value, then you can get 60 frames per second here, or you can get uncapped frames here, blah, 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 and here's each of the qualifiers. That's what they do. Your cable company does that. Your mobile company does that. All of these companies do the exact same thing. That is the dystopian future that you're going towards. A subscription model, and what thing do you want? Because they get more out of you.
Which also released on July 15th, 1983.
The SG-1000 arrives the same day as the Famicom.
But sadly for Sega,
Nintendo pretty much steamrolls Sega. The family computer becomes a big hit in...
Yeah, the plan's already out. Like, it's already here. You guys can look at Netflix and Disney Plus and all the other streaming services. Spotify, right? All the streaming services for music, books, right? They've already have the template. Now they just have to implement it on video games.
Japan.
The console launched with Nintendo's own established well-known hit,
Donkey Kong.
And Donkey Kong, of course, being where this little gentleman...
Dude, this was groundbreaking when you went to the arcade and played this.
Mario! First makes his appearance.
And when it brought it to the home system...
Whereas Sega launched with Congo Bongo...
I played that. What a shitty game.
Champion Tennis, Mahjong, and a slew of other non-character based games.
Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me.
Appreciate you. Was that low? Oh, well. It said thank you. Appreciate you very much. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like that, right? I play streaming on mobile phones. I play through the headset of the Meta Quest 2, right? I have physical games. I play through the cloud. I use all the stuff. Like, that's how I am. I totally get it, though. I don't really play a lot of mobile games because the fucking screen's too small, to be honest with you. My eyes are getting bad. But yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know if you came in, Alex, earlier in the show, but I said there's so many games for us to play that you'll never have to buy a new game. Like, if you just stop buying games today, or at the end of this year, by the end of this year, if you just stop buying games today, or this year, you have plenty of games to play. There's plenty of games for you to go buy and own and enjoy for the rest of your life. You'll never play them all. You'll never play them all. Thank you very much.
And also, Nintendo's console was just a touch cheaper.
The Sega machine, kind of doesn't really go anywhere.
Only sells 150,000 units, which is still much more than Sega expected. And Sega says, well, there's money to be made in this market.
So while Sega contemplated their next move, it was a different...
Was the talk, was it not loud enough? Is that what was happening? All right, hold on, let me see. Maybe it's something in the let me do it again. Oh, that's really soft. Why is that? What is that coming from? Why is that not? It's like super soft. What? That's what she said, by the way. Why is that? Wavelength. Why is that not loud? I don't understand why this is happening. I'm trying to figure that out. Well, see, on my side, I can hear it just fine, but it's not going out to you guys. Let me try one more thing here. Let me try one more thing. I'm gonna replay it one more time just to see if it works. No. Oh, hold up. This might be it. I think I figured it out. Nope. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, now I can hear double myself. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. We'll try to figure it out. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, shit, I just closed the wrong window. Closed the wrong window. Give me 1 second, chat. I can't see chat. Close the wrong window. There you are. I can see chat again. All right, let's go.
Different market that Nintendo had its sights on, and they started to wonder.
Maybe there isn't a real crash in America. Maybe people in the West are just looking for a new experience, a better experience.
And thus, the Nintendo Famicom was rebranded as
the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Released in the US in September of 1986.
The system with the most arcade hits.
As we know, the NES was an instant hit.
Nintendo video.
That's what our house looked like. Not the style, just all the kids in the house.
Video games.
We had our neighbors all come over and play.
It may be the most addictive toy in history.
Proving without a doubt that the US was ready to emerge from the dark times of a deflated video games industry.
That's exactly right, Kevin. I never understood the need to buy a new game at release. It'd still be new to you later. Yeah, exactly right.
But the question was Sega ready?
Well, Sega was on our radar at Nintendo for a lot of reasons, so we always were concerned they're going to come out with something.
Looking on with envy at Nintendo's success, Sega quickly devised a plan to repurpose their technologically superior SG-1000 Mark III.
Sega. That's what I remember. So when the Master System first came out, we owned the Nintendo, but my best friend at that time, he owned the Sega Master System, and we'd go over there and play.
And part of that plan was headhunting the Nintendo guy.
They had talked to me. They'd approached me probably 10 different times. Dave Rosen said to me, "You know, Bruce, do you think you got lucky?" He said, "We'll give you a chance to launch Sega, and you can prove it." They enticed me with a lot of...
You know what blew my mind? Well, me and Sarge mind just enough. When we had the Nintendo, and they came out with the adapter that you could plug into the second port, and you can have 4-player co-op locally, we were like... We would play so many 4-player games. It was mind-blowing. All our friends would come over. We all play at the exact same time. It was fucking amazing.
Things, the country club, to this, to that, 3 times my salary. It was like ridiculous. I'll give it a try.
That's the fighting spirit.
Why not?
And so Bruce got to work spearheading the redesign of the SG-1000 Mark III as
the Sega Master System.
And we did basically the same thing Nintendo did. We redesigned it.
Wait, you didn't know about the adapter? You didn't know about the adapter?
So it looked nothing like what it was in Japan.
But unlike Nintendo's rebranding of the Famicom,
Now you're playing with power.
in this case, Nintendo's power was subjective.
Sega came out with the Master System, which was technologically better than the NES. And games looked better on the Master System.
We were in every retailer, side by side with Nintendo.
So, Sega had a technologically superior console.
Look at that. 53.69 megahertz, 24-bit, 8-bit CPU. Woo!
2 8-bit machines going toe-to-toe.
And a very well-paid executive with a proven track record.
And he launches the Master System. His team chooses the name Master System. They create the box design, everything.
But once again, Sega lost the race.
Come on, look at that. He was
They
driving through
create
people.
the box design, everything.
But once
that's a crash. He crashed right there.
again, Sega lost the race. And the reason was simple.
You couldn't play Mario on the Master System.
Do you see? Even back then, people were like, how come I can't play Mario on the other platform? It's always been a thing. And people have fought me on this for years. They're like, that wasn't a thing. Yes, it was. We're like, yeah, we just want to play the game wherever we want.
Super Mario 2, only from Nintendo.
The thing we're missing, I remember telling him, was you need to have a character. Mario is what they're playing on. We need to have something.
But they didn't.
The Master System in the United States gets trounced by the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is the big thing.
You came 1,000 miles for this game?
I've done 7 stores a day for 3 weeks now, and I cannot find it.
That's exactly right, Craig. People have been console warring since before Christ. That's right.
But never fear, because Sega had a plan to put this little plumber back in his pipe. A character so cute.
Right, George. And people that played games later in life will die on the hill saying that wasn't a thing. Look, I understand you weren't playing games when we were playing games, and I was young back then, but there was multi-platform games all the way back then.
So adorable that
we literally played summer games and stuff on console and our Apple computer.
Sega simply could not fail. Oh, sorry, not Sonic. No. Sega's answer to Mario was this kid.
Alex Kidd was Sega's first real shot at a mascot. And God bless him. That is really some Friday, half homework done stuff. Alex Kidd. I could not tell you a thing about Alex Kidd as a character in terms of like his personality. The games were fine. They were just Mario clones. It was clear that Sega was like, who is our Mario? And instead of thinking who is our anti-Mario like they do later with Sonic,
no spoilers.
They were like, who is the closest thing we could get to Mario, which was Alex Kidd. And unfortunately, there was already Mario.
So, Sega didn't have Mario, and soon it wouldn't have Bruce, as he didn't like where Sega was going.
Lowry protests, things don't work out, so he leaves.
Leaving Sega to fight the console war in America, without a general. But on the European front, Nakayama had just the man for the job.
Ohio apparently liked me because he wanted me to handle the 8...
He liked you because he liked money. That's why he went after you.
...bit Master System distribution in Europe. But when I looked at the Master System, I didn't think it was different.
That controller, to this day, still works just fine.
Enough from the Nintendo NES system. And I didn't think it was that much advanced, and so I wasn't crazy about the 8-bit Master System.
So Tom stayed out of the race. For now, at least. But Sega kept running. And Nakayama began a swift sprint. And began a top...
Do you see that one hair that he's got?
And Nakayama began a swift sprint.
Look at that one long piece of hair coming off his head. I thought that was a crack in the screen or something for a second. I was like, wait a minute, what is that?
And began a top secret development project.
We just took about one of these last night in our video game story.
Yes, it was indeed very top secret. On a brand new console, it was a plan so bold and so much better than Nintendo that this time it could not fail.
Everyone who joined the company that year was allowed to work freely. We joined that experimental project, and we did creative work.
And so, from this secretive, experimental, creative time,
a scientist creates the ultimate machine.
Sega's answer to the 8-bit Nintendo.
Sega Genesis is what really, really changed the game, right? Competition is great. Nintendo had to start making really good games, right? Sega Genesis was great, man. That's where I played all the sports games when I first started. Well, not true. Not true. That's when you started playing like the Madden games and stuff like that, the baseball, Tommy Lasorda and stuff.
Was to create
the most advanced video game system in the universe.
Yes! The Mega Drive.
It brought this 68,000 Motorola processor and faster processing speed.
Mega Drive, 16-bit CPU. Yeah, great system back in the day.
Then, in late summer...
I remember. I don't know if Sarge feels this way. Maybe I'll ask him when we're on the podcast. When we got the Sega Genesis, right, and we owned the Nintendo, I felt like I was cheating on Nintendo. I was like, it's like we pushed it off to the side. It's that picture of the woman bringing the kid in the pool, and Nintendo was just sitting there. We still play Nintendo. Don't get me wrong, but when this came in, this is like the new car smell. We were like, oh man, we were playing the shit out of games on this thing.
Of 1989, Sega unleashed this powerhouse machine on the American public.
This year, Nintendo may be up against some serious competition.
But with Bruce gone,
Sega brings in Michael Katz as president.
Under Katz's watch, the Mega Drive hit American shelves, renamed as
Genesis, a system with...
God, I remember these commercials like it was fucking yesterday. Okay, it's not reading them out loud for you guys, so thank you very much, Tarnish. Just shows how far consoles have fallen. The fun factor is gone too. $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I don't know why it's not reading them out loud. I think I broke something. So, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, man.
Twice the power. This 16-bit console was set to blaze a path across the world.
And by the way, 16 is twice as many bits as 8.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the math. Thank God he's here to tell us that 16 is double 8.
And this time, they beat Nintendo to the punch, leaving this lethargic 8-bit box in the dust. But
you couldn't play Mario.
Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle? Anyone?
Could you imagine a world where we talk about Alex the Kid like we talk about Mario right now?
But it wasn't all bad.
Talk about minimal viable product back then. They're like, they have fucking Mario, and they're like, let's compete. Let's make this. What's his name? Alex the Kid. Yeah, that sounds good.
Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle? Anyone? But it wasn't all bad. Altered Beast was great. Golden Axe, Ghosts and Ghouls.
Oh, God damn, these games were so good back then.
The Genesis had some fans.
It had a bunch of buttons, and it was designed perfectly for that machine. And it was much, much more fun, at least by my perception.
But unfortunately, not the perception of the video game console buying public. A fact that didn't sit well with the Sega boss, Hayao Nakayama.
Hayao Nakayama is a very interesting guy.
Yeah, Echo the Dolphin. Yes.
He's very tough. I've actually seen when he disagreed with a subordinate.
It was a great game, to be honest, Kraken. I'm not being facetious. That was a really good game back then.
Subordinate, a very tough management style. Very demanding guy.
And so for the head of the American Sega operations, spearheading the Genesis flop, Nakayama gave him the Golden Axe.
I see what you did there.
The Sega
Look at that. Look at that. There it is. Tommy Lasorda baseball. Played the shit out of that. Right? Pat Riley's basketball. Buster Douglas knockout boxing. I remember that. Joe Montana football. Owned that. Yeah.
Genesis was
got Super Hangout, Super Thunderblade.
Struggling.
Cyberball. I remember that one. Hold on. Don't cover that up yet. Altered Beast, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Struggling. but with twice the power of the NES. Surely, it was just a matter of marketing. But with Bruce Lowry gone and now Michael Katz as well, Heyo needed someone he liked, someone who'd worn many different hats, someone who was on holiday?
I was on vacation with my family in Hawaii, and this guy shows
NBA Jam was later down the road.
Up in a suit on the beach. It's Hayao Nakayama, and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, I'm looking for you."
We're still in the 80s here. We're still in the late 80s, early 90s here.
I said, "Well, how did you find me?" He said, "Well, I called your assistant, and she told me what hotel you were at." And I said, "Oh, great."
And so, Hayao Nakayama begged Tom to come to Japan to see their exciting, powerful console.
My daughter...
What's 91, right? Just came out in 91?
"Daddy, he came all the way from Japan."
Or was it 89?
"And you have to go with him." And that's why I went. I left my family in Hawaii, and I flew back to Tokyo with Hayao Nakayama.
The dude went on his vacation to recruit him. Damn. He went on his vacation and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And the kid said go with him.
Tom had been unimpressed with the Sega Master System.
I wasn't crazy about the 8-bit Master System.
But what would he think of the Mega Drive / Genesis?
The graphics were sensational. What I saw in the arcades...
Oh, fucking the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game. I know it sounds silly. This was a fantastic game back in the day. This was a phenomenal game back in the day.
Was exactly what you would see on the 6.
This is what blew our minds, right? This is what blew our minds back in the day, because you would have to go to an arcade, right? You have to go to an arcade to get the graphics and what it is, and then they brought it home to you, which was amazing.
16-bit machine.
But as we've established, Tom is a bigwig. You don't tell the Barbie, He-Man, and Matchbox guy what to do. If Tom was going to come on board, he'd need the power.
Well, if I'm going to be taking on Nintendo...
Well, look, you could say that, Crowded, if you make He-Man and fucking Barbie, when you market it over there, and you make millions and tens of millions, maybe you didn't make $1 billion, but tens of millions of dollars back then, man earned it.
And become CEO of Sega of America, I have to make the decisions in the United States. And you have to give me that freedom and that assurance that I'm going to be able to make the decisions for the company from the United States, that it's not going to be dictated.
Ron says, hear me, bro. Michael Jackson Moonwalker 5v5 hero shooter with battle pass and loot boxes. I mean, I think Sony's going to take that idea. They're looking for live service games. Why not?
From Japan. And he agreed to that.
And so, Tom was on board and immediately began formulating a game plan, which he prepared to promptly present to the Sega board in Tokyo.
Started studying the market and started seeing how Nintendo did business.
You are the game. You are the power.
It became very clear to me that Nintendo owned the 9 to 13-year-old boy.
They do. And now Nintendo owns the birth to death crowd. Okay? Nintendo is so baked into your DNA now, right? That it's associated as, if you're a kid, you're playing Nintendo. Even if you don't know, even if you're not, they're like, yep, kid plays Nintendo. That's where it is now.
They were rabid Nintendo fans. And I thought, well, there's another market. There's an older market above the 13 age group. And that's a possibility for Sega.
Tom knew just what to do.
I wanted to do more software development in the United States, more sports games, more role-playing games, more strategy games, more fighting games. We're going to start advertising to...
Yeah, now they own every age bracket. That's exactly right, Argus.
Teens and college-age students. We're going to advertise on MTV, and we're going to make fun of Nintendo in commercials we do. We're going to position them as the little kid's product and not an adult product.
But Tom's biggest, most controversial idea...
We're priced too high. We've got to lower...
I love to see.
But Tom's biggest, most controversial idea...
We're priced...
$189. $189 back then. Okay. Includes Altered Beast.
Price too high. We've got to lower the price of the hardware.
And not only that...
The console came with our Altered Beast pack.
Someone right now is looking it up. Well, actually, 30. If it's $189 back then when it came out, it's actually about the same price as a PlayStation now. Cool. And no one bought it back then.
In with it. We're going to take Altered Beast out because in the Midwest they thought that was devil worship. And we're going to put our best title in.
They didn't even really have a best title. Well, with that...
Right, Titan. If it's too high, imagine boosting it up $200 afterwards.
Tom's plan was complete, and as per the agreement...
But I'm going to be able to make the decisions. It's not going to be dictated from Japan.
The presentation was surely more of a formality.
Well, at the end of my presentation, Nakayama and the board, they were all talking in Japanese, which of course I don't understand. And my friend translating in my ear as fast as he could, and basically he said to me, Tom, they don't agree with anything you want to do. If you take Altered Beast out and include our best title in, you'll lose a profitable software sale. And that's not going to work. If you lower the price, we're going to have less profit as it is on the hardware system. So that's not going to work. And they don't like the idea at all of taking Nintendo on and making fun of Nintendo.
I want you to make parallels right here, right? As I'm listening to this, I didn't know about all of this, right? Listen to the parallels of what he's talking about Sega, how they're fighting against Nintendo, and what they have to do to compete against Nintendo. Now, take it what you're seeing today. Asha Sharma coming in and making big changes in Xbox to compete against PlayStation and Nintendo, right? Like ripping out the main game of their thing, going certain directions, right? Big swooping changes to try to compete.
Japanese company, you can't make fun of another Japanese company. That's just not done. And they don't like the idea of doing more software development in the United States because they're going to have to hire lots of people. That's going to cost a lot of...
Brainchild says the systems are a rite of passage now. I can't wait till he or she is old enough to play Nintendo with me. And it's also like street cred, right? It's also like street cred because if you meet someone later in life, okay, and again, you don't know their age. Just maybe you meet a 30-year-old, right? I'm almost 50, okay? And all of a sudden he says, yeah, I played Nintendo when I was a kid. Boom. Instant cred. You're like, yeah. And then you start talking. It's that engagement of, yeah, I played Nintendo. That's what it is. Now it's the same thing what the kids do now. Yeah, I'm on Sony. It's that status symbol.
Money. So basically, Nakayama, he got up, he kicked over his chair, and started to walk out the room. And that was it. And I thought, well, that's the shortest career anybody ever had.
But before Tom put his sandals back on and headed back to Hawaii,
he turned at the door and he said, when I hired you, I agreed with you that you could make the decisions for the United States. So go ahead.
That's a false advertisement. Not really, though, and I'll explain why. Just Enough says, wait, you're almost 50. This channel is false advertisement. You're not 30 in SG. You're absolutely correct. Hence why I rebranded. And I'm not 30 and still gaming, and we don't do a show, right? Because originally the show wasn't about me 30 and still gaming. It was to advertise, if you are 30 and still gaming, that you could come and talk to me because we have stuff in common, right? I was never the actual name, but people came in and started calling me 30 NSG. That's why some people call me Mike, right? And then I switched it from 30 and Still Gaming, and we rebranded our channel to 30 NSG, which doesn't stand and Still Gaming. Technically, it still does, but it actually stands for News, Shows, and Games. See that? See how that works? Appreciate the support, man.
Ahead and do these things you've outlined.
And now, a new race began.
The pressure was that I had to move fast.
Tom's race.
I had to do these things very quickly.
But Tom couldn't do it alone.
We had quite an opinionated staff at the time. Our executive staff was about 20 people, and not everybody saw things the same way, but everybody knew that the goal was to...
Alex, thank you very much. Smart man with the channel name, $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Yeah, the reason I got it was I actually had an LFG back in the day. It was called 30 and Still Gaming because we were playing Battlefield, and I was looking for other people to play Battlefield with. So the title of the LFG was, if you're 30 and still gaming, and we like to play in Battlefield Bad Company, hit me up. That's how it started.
Beat Nintendo.
And now Sega had everything they needed to win the war. A powerful war machine, a competent general with a plan, and a legion of loyal soldiers ready for battle.
And eventually we all came around. We all...
My actual real name is Mike. It's Michael. That's my actual name.
All agreed to the next steps that we needed to take to make heads roll.
And if not heads, mustaches. Because the first order of business was working out.
Going to take Altered Beast out, and we're going to put our best title in.
What to package the console with. And the game Tom was thinking of might really give Mario a run for his money.
That's exactly right, Sarge. That's how we built our 25-player team, because of a title. That's right. We started meeting people, and that's exactly how we got the crew we played with. What's going on, Aaron?
One of the other things we wanted to do was have our own mascot to compete with Mario. So that was an ongoing project when I arrived at Sega.
A project Hirokazu Yasuhara had been pondering.
The Genesis has multiple layers of scrolling. The processing speed is pretty fast. The programmers wanted to create fast characters and a colorful world to use the fast and colorful capabilities of the Genesis.
Easier said than done, because this young game designer was a little on the fresh side.
In high school and college, I wasn't really into games.
That's right. Sonic was built specifically to compete with Mario.
I saw Star Wars when I was in junior high. Then I was like, I have to make films. It was time to look for a job, and a friend of mine was interviewing for a gaming company. Namco had Galaxian 3D. It was just like Star Wars. You can have a movie experience in a game. So I thought about going into gaming.
Aaron, did you change your name so you could come back into the channel? We'll see how long that lasts.
And thus, Hirokazu ended up at Sega and found himself working on what was about to become a very important project indeed.
There was this egg-shaped character, there was an animal, dog-shaped character, there was a human-type character.
Until eventually, they land on a character named...
Mr. Needlemouse.
Oh, right. Mr. Needlemouse.
The version that we saw of Sonic at first was...
Oh, we never ban anybody. We send them to the void.
Was very radical, and he had a girlfriend that looked like Madonna.
This thing, it was very ferocious.
Mr. Needlemouse is a better name. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Just looking, very sharp spikes all over his body.
And when that comes to the U.S., Sega's U.S. marketing team is like, God, no.
We shut that down real quickly.
And
I don't know if it's the same Aaron. Don't know if it's the same Aaron. Aaron, you wouldn't happen to be a teacher, would you?
Mr. Needlemouse will never be mentioned again. The stakes were higher for Sega, who were finally
Uh-oh. He's laughing. That means I might be right. Can I stay? So you did change your name to come back in the channel. I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that because... One, I put you to the void because of the disruption you did in their channel. And now you came back, meaning you like our channel, meaning you like it so much you've been watching the entire time and decided that you wanted to make a new name, a new profile, just so you could chat in my channel. Is that crazy? I got a fucking memory like a fucking elephant.
Developing a character now named Sonic who would be worthy of taking on Mario.
He changed his looks and his attitude to be more appealing to not only our target audience, but the parents of our target audience.
In other words,
we shall see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Safe, prepackaged rebellion in Sonic the Hedgehog.
So they removed the girlfriend and they gave Sonic attitude, because in the 1990s, everything had to have attitude.
It was very clear to me very early on that this was the best idea that we had.
So it was looking like Tom had a strong contender for his repackaged lower-priced Genesis. It was time for the game designer to deliver.
We were so focused on work, and we stayed over at the office, and we didn't have a change of clothes.
I love what you just said. We almost have a full gauntlet of trolls now. That's right, we do. And believe me, I'll just do it again. I don't care.
So we would buy new underwear every other day. And at the end of the year, we ended up having a ridiculous amount of underwear.
It wasn't just a mountain of underwear. He'd also created a mountain of work.
That's exactly right. Just remember, Thanos, like this.
I came up with all the gimmicks, designed all the stages, designed the enemy.
Nah, I'll just put my dick in the PlayStation so I can get identified more. Don't worry about it. You can identify me through my PlayStation social security number gamer tag.
And designed most of the stories.
In fact, it's hard to overstate Hirokazu's contribution to this soon-to-be classic game.
This was groundbreaking, by the way. This was groundbreaking because of how fast the fucking screen was moving when you played.
The character was fast.
Sonic could run so fast, the screen couldn't catch up with him.
It utilized the technology.
You'd see them doing loops. You have the parallax scrolling of the background as you're running.
And the sumptuous, colorful world was the perfect backdrop.
All of that really is immersive.
It looked like this new game would run rings around Mario. Now, speaking of rings...
You know, that's a design, right? The only reason you got the coins was to move you forward. That was it. Obviously, you couldn't go backwards, but they put the coins there because it was the dopamine type of stuff.
Mario was collecting coins, so Sonic needed something as a guide. We thought, donuts are popular in America. Something with holes. So that's how we decided to use rings.
I'm not doing that until the console is built into the Tesla-made sex box. You have to identify yourself again. Okay. This is the 7th time you've identified yourself this morning.
And so to catch up with Nintendo, Sega released Sonic the Hedgehog on June 23rd, 1991.
New Sonic the Hedgehog.
The moment it hit the shelves, Sonic immediately began to blow people's minds. Selling a whopping 24 million copies worldwide in the process. And so, after coming last,
Nintendo pretty much steamrolled.
Look at that. Outsells Sega.
Sega.
Then last.
The Master System gets trounced by the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Then last again.
Nintendo completely dominated.
Sega was finally poised
to crack Nintendo's monopoly on the market.
That is until...
There's only one place to come. The games of
the Super NES. That was a fucking phenomenal system too. There are so many games for that system.
Nintendo was hot on Sega's heels, and not even Sonic could outrun the Super Nintendo.
And that is what led into the great console war between the Super Nintendo.
Sega's not dead. They still publish many games. They have lots of games.
And the Sega Genesis.
But before the final round of this great battle, Sega enjoyed a crisp...
They did miss it. Yeah, it's insane they didn't call the Switch the Super Nintendo Switch. That would have been, I bet you they didn't do it because they didn't think of it. And then the fans thought of it. And they're like, well, we can't do it because then we're just going to call it the Switch 2. How they didn't call it the Super Nintendo Switch is fucking ridiculous. How do you not do it? It's the perfect marketing. And you make it the same colors. You make it the same colors as the Super Nintendo. Like, win.
Christmas miracle.
From September through Christmas, we went from under 20% of the market share to about 50%. We actually beat Nintendo for that 1 month in the Christmas holiday period.
Cool. Christmas was great for us that year. We outsold the Nintendo system dramatically.
I heard Matt got a Sega Genesis.
세가간의 크리스마스 쇼세인데
In the Christmas season, when Sega beat Nintendo, it made me very happy.
It was for 1 month, though. They beat him for that Christmas.
But then, Christmas was over. Super Nintendo sales began to gain momentum. It was time to fully implement the next prong of Tom's plan.
We needed more aggressive advertising.
And they wouldn't be pulling any punches.
We went out to a handful of really strong creative advertising agencies in the country.
And one company that stood out above...
That'd be funny, Eclipse, if they did. They're like, Sega's back. They're like, Sega, you own your games here.
The rest?
I'm Jeff Goodby, and I'm the co-chairman of Goodby, Silverstein and Partners, and I run a band of crazy people who make advertising.
Advertising is very, very important. Very important. And there's hundreds of millions of dollars that go through advertising. I used to work for a lot of marketing firms as the person that made the commercials and stuff like that, like just as a camera guy. Holy shit, man. The amount of commercials, I mean, marketing makes the world go around. This is why you have lots of the stuff that you have for a cheap price because of advertisement. But now we're in an industry where, because we used to watch television at a cheaper price back in the day, and then there's providers and all this other stuff that raise the prices, okay? But the cable networks, you used to get the free television, right? And you would get free television because of the ads, because they would do all that stuff. And then it got out of hand because then you got subscription models, and you got streaming services, and you got all this other stuff, and they just kept adding more and more and more ads and more things and more thumbs, right? But marketing is very, very important, especially back then for video games.
The same crazy people who got us chugging milk and quoting frogs.
Good times.
But to win Sega over,
we got a sound system. We took 9 TVs, put them together in a stack 3x3, made them into one picture.
They showed making fun of Nintendo. And the little kid playing, and we were like...
Did you see what he did? Like a little kid playing? Like he was still making fun of him.
They showed making fun of Nintendo. And the little kid playing,
and we were like, let's make them into the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We'll be the Hells Angels. I think we had the account like immediately when that happened.
They understood the video game industry. They understood how to make fun of Nintendo.
We had to do something in your face and have it happen fast.
To do that, Goodby and his team would need to show the entire world that Nintendo and Mario were a couple of giant
pussies. And like Sonic was not a pussy.
The very first ad that Goodby did for us, they took a typical nerd, transcending over time into a cool, edgy rebel.
But maybe it was Diane who was the rebel.
There's something missing.
And Diane's simple observation would lead to one of the most abrasive, memorable ad campaigns of
Sega
all time.
Sega! Yep.
Diane and the marketing team were refining their attack ads on Nintendo.
So they came back the next day and said, well, we think we got something for you.
When you listen to it, it's ever so slightly Japanese, which I think is cool.
So that was the beginning.
Diane was kind of hot. I mean, yeah.
Beginning of our tagline, the Sega screen.
Sega! 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 And we use that over and over. Sega! Sega! Sega!
It was stressful. It was like this was life or death. You needed this Sega Genesis console.
Would drive up to my girls' school, and the kids would yell, Sega! When they saw me.
And after a very short period of time, the commercials were known because of that Sega screen.
Hey, Sega!
At this point, Tom must have felt
ads, commercial and ads and stuff in the 80s and 90s, like peak fucking time, man. We used to love watching commercials.
Pretty good about the race he was running.
It's working.
Mario couldn't keep up with Sonic.
When Sonic 2 comes out, the game is an immense success, even more popular than the original Sonic the Hedgehog. They established Sonic as a universe, not just one character, the same way Mario wasn't just...
Yeah, and look at Sonic now. 3 very successful movies, right? Television shows, you know, merchandise, having a 4th movie come out.
Just one character, and that's how you get spin-offs and licensing and things like that, and you create a brand as opposed to just a game.
The world had fallen head over heels with Sonic and his pals. But then a small voice echoed on the wind.
It's me, Mario!
And people once again started to notice something about the Sega Genesis.
You couldn't play Mario.
If you want to play the next Mario game, you cannot play it with your old Nintendo.
It's only if you get new Super Nintendo.
And that's how important it is to make your first-party games and just put care. Look, say what you want about Mario. They love that fucking franchise, man. They constantly make better games for Mario.
And that was really enough at that point to convince millions of people to buy a Super Nintendo.
And with that, Kalinske doubled down.
More aggressive advertising.
Hitting Nintendo harder.
Sales took off.
Oh, I remember that. When they did the comparison like this. They did the comparison.
Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, $199. And they're like, Sega Genesis, $150. That's when competition was good, man.
Harder.
Sales took off. And, things were happening.
And harder still.
It even slices and dices.
And just like last time,
What Nintendo?
it worked. It is. A little too well.
Nintendo hated our advertising. And Howard Lincoln, the president here in the United States, would call me up and complain. I'm going to sue you over that commercial for belittling his product. Never did, as far as I know.
Yeah, see, it's a bluff. I'm going to sue you. You're making fun of me. And now we're in a culture just exactly the same.
But anyway, he claimed he was going to.
But it wasn't only Nintendo who didn't like it.
海外ではとてもアグレッシブな
Overseas, they
Well, Sega still has Sonic. They still own Sonic. They've teamed up with Nintendo and stuff in the past, so Sega still owns Sonic.
Had a very aggressive marketing campaign.
They just don't own consoles anymore.
From the boss on down, it was potentially possible that cracks were beginning to form somewhere in the Pacific.
イリーガルではないと思います、ね。
It wasn't illegal, but it was considered rude.
失礼。
Right. It wasn't illegal. It was just rude. Japanese people are very honorable, and they don't like to make fun of people. And then there's America. They're like, screw you.
But rudeness mattered not to Tom and the Goodby advertising firm.
What makes Genesis faster than Nintendo? Well, you've got two different parts of the system that are pushing data through at the same time, like a blast of data. So
Since playing the story the last 2 days, when I look at this board, all I could think about is like soldering and taking the screws out to fix it.
Same time, like a blast of data. So we nicknamed the technology blast processing.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't.
And it was based on something that was sort of true.
Great technology.
So what's blast processing do?
That the marketing team invented.
What if you don't?
Listen to what he just said there. Listen to what he just said there.
Blast processing do?
That the marketing team invented.
What does that do? It does nothing. It's what the marketing team invented. So, do you think that these companies won't say something that's not true just to sell you shit?
What if you don't have blast processing?
But if the truth was blurred around blast
it's blurred. It's blurred.
Processing, it was crystal clear when it came to the future of video gaming. Because while the gloves were off...
And the best part is, hold on, let's go back to this for a second, okay?
Processing. Super Nintendo doesn't.
And it was based on something that was sort of...
Hold on. He's just laughing about it.
True. Great technology.
So what's blast processing do?
That the marketing team invented.
Now remember, he was the head at that time. What do you think the heads do now when they tell you something? When they tell you that there's no need for physical media anymore, they're like, it's just saying. We'll just wait for the documentary to come out 10, 15 years from now when they sit down with the CEOs back then and say, oh no, physical sales were still good. It's just that we wanted to get rid of it and we had to make it up.
What if you don't have blast processing?
But if the truth was blurred around blast processing, it was crystal
blast processing
clear when it came to the future of video gaming. Because while the gloves...
Don't get me wrong, back then, when I was a kid, I ate that shit up. I was like, it's got fucking blast technology.
...were off. The bare-knuckled battle between Sega and Nintendo had given rise to a whole new type of technology.
I knew that optical disc was the way of the future. Think of the memory capabilities of an optical disc compared to a cartridge are 100-fold.
And fellow Japanese company, Sony, was at the cutting edge of this new technology.
We knew it was good.
But Sony were far from the cutting edge of making games or consoles.
Sony wanted to do games on optical disc platform, and I liked Sony, and I wanted them to be...
So you would say that the reason Sony exists is because of this gentleman right here. Because he wanted to make a console with them, and they said no, and then they made their own.
Part of Sega.
And so Tom Kalinske made the biggest play of his career, a decision so consequential, it would shape Sega's fate, along with the entire video game industry.
So we went to Japan and met with Sony management, and we said we want to do a combined hardware system. You can be the Sony Sega system or the Sega Sony system, doesn't matter. We're not going to make money on hardware, but we're going to make a lot of money.
Listen to what he just said there. We're not going to make money on the hardware, but we're going to make a lot of money on the software. And somewhere along the way, those companies like, no, we need to make a shit ton of money on the consoles as well.
On the optical disc software that we produced for it. And Sony said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Tom Kalinske was on the cusp of grasping the greatest treasure the video game industry had seen since Atari's cartridge-based 2600 back in 1977.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
And as the finish line approached, with Sega crossing that line in first place, a familiar voice echoed on the wind.
It's me, Mario.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
No, not that one.
Sega's a company that does everything wrong frequently.
Yeah, that's the one.
We went to Nakayama-san, and he said, that's a terrible idea. Why would we want to help Sony?
No, Nintendo didn't make money off their consoles either.
And so we didn't do that deal with Sony.
We can't confirm if chairs were kicked, but Nakayama said no. And Tom...
I'm no expert, but from what I've heard, one of the main reasons physical media is disappearing is because modern gaming have become so massive, they take up a huge amount of storage and Blu-ray discs. Let me ask you something. Did you ever play King's Quest back on the old PC computers back in the day? You want to ask how many floppy disks were in that game? That's a bunch of BS that they tell you. Well, it's just getting too big. Like, there's fucking 3 discs for Final Fantasy and whatnot back in the day, right? That is some BS bullshit, okay, from the companies that tell you, well, the reason we don't want to make physical is because there's just the storage is just too big. That's the same bullshit that Destiny told you, okay? That's the same bullshit that Destiny told you that the game's getting too big and we can't keep it. All a bunch of bullshit.
Stupid.
Wasn't happy.
We were better at doing games than Sony was. So we would have had more successful games than they would have, and we would have benefited from the profit from those games. So to me, it was stupid.
That meant that we had to give up pursuing the PlayStation as our hardware unit.
So instead...
So I introduced both a CD attachment.
This right here is what... That was a major, major failure for them, right? I'm going to back up here for a second. Let them listen to it again.
Confirm if chairs were kicked, but Nakayama said no. And Tom...
This was stupid.
Wasn't happy.
We were better at doing games than Sony was. So we would have had more successful games than...
Yes. But the owner was like, I don't know anything about video games. I don't want to listen to you. And then PlayStation's like, all right, we'll just do it ourselves.
And they would have, and we would have benefited from the profit from those games. So to me, it was stupid.
That meant that we had to give up pursuing the PlayStation as our hardware unit.
So instead...
So I introduced both a CD attachment.
Mega CD.
So then I introduced 32X.
Redouble his power.
Do you see how they just added it to it? They didn't want to sell you a different system. They just wanted to add the component on top of that.
32. Didn't work out.
That is the beginning of Sega.
You would literally play the game back then on floppy, Aaron, and you would walk through a door, and the door would open, and then it would say, insert disc 6. And then you would undo it and pull that one out, look for disc 6, take 6, put it in, close it. You're in that room now. And now you're in that room and you're doing your thing. And then when you go back out the thing, it would say, put put disc 4 back in, and then you would undo it and put back disc 4 back in. That's how you played games back then. So I don't want to hear any bullshit about any company ever telling you it's getting too big to store stuff on the discs. It's because they're too cheap to make a second disc because it cuts into their cost, and then they can't charge more than what it is. Instead of just making a game and selling the game, now they have to micromanage stuff because the people that are in charge of video games now are not gamers. They're suits and investors, and they only want number to go up. That is it.
You're starting to fall behind.
Or, in other words, the beginning of the end. In what might be arguably one of the worst corporate blunders in history.
Sounds exhausting. It literally took 2 seconds.
Yes, friends, I'm talking about this.
Sega let Sony and the PlayStation slip through their fingers.
To me, it was stupid.
And to make matters worse,
he still looks upset about it.
Some of the Sega team changed horses mid-race.
And I know in mid-edit, they just found something to make him look like he's still upset about it, so it's out of context.
The marketing executive was now heading marketing at Sony. He stole a couple of our marketing people. They went out and built a lot of relationships based on the Genesis relationships, and they out-Sega'd Sega.
Tom did try to keep up with Sony.
So I have a question. Does your channels on your television set just change automatically? Or do you have to pick up the controller and hit it with inconvenience of your thumb? It's just too out of date, right? Like, I gotta change channels. It'd be much more convenient if I just had channel change. It's much more convenient. This is the most simplistic thing ever. Just taking your finger and changing a channel. Sometimes you have to hit 3 numbers. Sometimes you have to 2 numbers, right? Convenience is not always a change that's in for the best. Just saying, right? Sometimes the simplistic method of just doing something of changing a disc in 2 seconds is literally the most convenient way.
Introducing Sega Saturn.
Sega released their next console, the Saturn.
But it appeared to be a race to the bottom.
Uh-oh.
Sega's next console, the Saturn?
Technologically advanced game.
Sega of America is spending a lot of money, and they're not selling what they should sell.
We didn't have a Sonic game for Saturn. That was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And when the PlayStation hit the market in September of 1995,
PlayStation had taken #1 immediately, first month sales.
It took Sony about 4 months.
Look at that. 102.49 million. That's not units sold, by the way. That's the amount of money they made.
To completely take over.
Nintendo was hanging in, and Sega was the loser.
And for the head of Sega America, a loss too hard to take.
All of a sudden, where I had been allowed to make all the decisions for the United States, the decisions started to be overruled by Japan.
Japan was trying to run our business too much.
And I wasn't getting the cooperation out of Japan that I used to get.
Because of that, we were limping along.
I think after the Genesis, Sega never really kind of regained their hardware footing.
It really seemed like
not until the Dreamcast, and the Dreamcast was a really short-lived thing. Probably one of the most beloved consoles. It was ahead of its time, and then it just faded away, but people still love the Sega Dreamcast.
All the effort to beat Nintendo and put out such good product into the market for a long time was no longer the case. I told Tom that I would stay if he would renew his contract, which was coming up in 1996. And he looked at me squarely and said that he couldn't make that commitment to me. And because of that, I felt that we didn't have the strength any longer to make it worthwhile to stay at Sega. Tom was so taken by my situation that
I don't like what they did there. They got a concerned look on his face, but the producer, whoever made this video, I don't think it's this channel, it's the people, the Game Changers, they're asking him a question because you can tell he's listening, right? Because that's a long pause. He's just listening to a question being answered, and they misconstrued like, oh, make him look concerned.
Tom was so taken by my situation that he called Nakayama-san, and he used it as an example of how Japan was trying to run our business too much and how we were losing good people because of...
Oh, so it just shows that Japan's just trying to tank the business like they did with Sega, and they're doing it again with Sony. It's a bold move. Let's see if it works out for them.
And finally, it was Tom's turn to kick them where it hurt.
It was time for me to go.
And so, Tom Kalinske left Sega. So did Diane. And even Nakayama-san himself, as well as Sega founder David Rosen.
After that, Sega continued on a very nebulous direction. They came out with the Dreamcast a few years later, and that was the last hardware unit that they came out with.
Finish him. I'm sad that Sega is no longer in the console business.
But don't get us wrong.
They still make arcades. They still make software.
They are still very much in business.
Yep. Sega to this day still makes amusement machines, metal games, and the same games it was making back in 1960.
And of course, video games. Just minus the console.
I'm glad that Sonic the Hedgehog has become a very successful movie.
It feels like I've been running my whole life.
The third movie's coming out this fall, and they tell me it's going to be wonderful. I believe them.
So, Sonic and Mario...
This is old, because obviously the third one already came out.
Mario continue their battle at the box office.
Wow, you were great!
And now, even in the same games.
Sonic and Mario are now in games together.
On the Xbox, the Nintendo Switch, and the Sony PlayStation.
I wonder what the console wars were even about.
Sega's a company that's 60 years old and only made consoles for 16.
It's funny to think about that Sega made casino machines and Nintendo made wood toys, didn't they, when they first started? And now what they've completely changed the model of.
Today, Sega has been out of the console business for more years than it was in it.
But for Sega, those glorious years at the front of the pack were surely the highlight. And thanks to the leadership of Tom Kalinske, who would go on to wear other hats, his multi-pronged plan...
U.S. marketing list, more U.S. games, aggressive advertisement, lower price, change packaged game.
Had worked. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering about this final prong...
Do more software development in the United States, more sports games.
Here's the kick.
Well, that's...
And who does sports games? The company just sold for $55 billion. That's who.
It's a whole story unto itself.
The problem Sega had with Electronic Arts.
So pop on your shoulder pads and...
Fucking Madden football back in the day, man. Which one was it? Was it 93 or 94 where the ambulance used to come onto the field and just plow over the players? Which one was that? I used to love that. Madden football, man, was the best. The best.
Put in your mouth guard. Because the story of how Electronic Arts...
This is wrong. You can't do this.
...swindled Sega and gave rise to an entire genre of sports games...
EA Sports. It's in the game.
...might be the greatest
Oh, we might have to watch this one
back
tomorrow.
in history.
Or sometime, maybe next week. It's pretty good. I like it. I learned a lot there. I did not know all that about Sega, about the early years and what they did. Obviously, I owned Sega when I was younger. Absolutely loved the Sega Genesis. Like, I would have to say, like, obviously the Nintendo NES, like, well, actually the Atari was peak back in the day when I first started playing video games at 3 with the bowling and tennis and Breakout and stuff like that. Then Nintendo with Mario, right? And then Sega came out. Playing the sports games on Sega is what really, like, embedded in me. And then PlayStation 2 was, like, peak as well. Then the Xbox 360, right? And now I just don't feel it. I just don't feel anything. Just kind of like, it is what it is, you know? If you guys like it, link in the description down below. Good stuff. That's Diamond Plus Documentary is the link in the description down below. 3 weeks ago they uploaded it. So they had to get it from another channel. I don't think they produced this channel. But anyway, this is where we watched it. So if you like it, go give it a like. Go give it a subscribe. Appreciate it very much. $2 super chat says, hear me out. We can watch EA right now. Like, watch that video right now? No, it's 1:45. We can't do that. I can't do that. You can. If you want to go watch it, we can watch it tomorrow or next week maybe. All depends on what's happening in the news cycle. Appreciate you. What am I playing later? Tonight we're playing Halo Campaign Evolve, or as we call it, Devolve, with Sarge, Cuban 77, and Brainchild. We're continuing our part 3 of the Halo campaign. That's tonight. And then before that, I might be on Fake Wizard News at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure what their show's about today, if I'm on it or not. But other than that, then we'll just be back. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the daily grind as usual, Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. And then we have our 500th episode of Generation X Gaming tomorrow evening. Joining me tomorrow night is Sarge, of course, and Greg Owen, and the Kingard, and Fake Wizard. They'll all be on the show. Jack says the Xbox documentary on the YouTube channel is 6 parts. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Appreciate Jack. So what you're saying is you would want me to watch all 6 parts on stream. I'm game. We could do that. We can do that. How long is that, Jax? Do you know of the 6 parts? How long is each video? Have you considered doing a daily grind where you're just grinding on something or 2 straight hours? What do you mean? Like a news show or like a video game? No, my morning show is this, and then the gaming channel is separate. And I literally play a game for 3 to 4 hours every stream. It varies in length? Okay. 6 parts and 14 layers. Like physically grinding on an object for 2 hours, like your face? Sure, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I'm sure chat would love to pay for that. I'll make sure I don't wipe first and not shower for a couple days. And then we could do a whole stream of me grinding my dirty, stinky ass on your face for 2 hours. That would be fun for me. I would love that. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it, chat. Let me know if you guys want to do that. We'll do a subathon. All right. What else we got going on here? Let's see what's happening on Twitter. 1:15. Oh, did the season finale come out for X-Men 97 Season 2 already? I got to watch that. McLaren? What? McLaren is teaming up with Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay. McLaren Racing is officially a gaming partner with Sonic the Hedgehog. I know what you guys were looking forward to. Yeah, wait, the car? Yes. Yes, they're teaming up with them. Hey, look at this. PlayStation Plus game catalog for August. You get Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Helldivers 2, and Vampire Survivor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the continued support. Appreciate that. 34 months. He says, I told you I was a gooner. I knew 30 would come around to it. Helldivers looking for more people. They're like, oh, we need more people. Oh, you see that tweet yesterday with Asha Sharma? Asha Sharma saying that she's seen or played the Elder Scrolls 6. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't say anything, literally, until you can show something. Let me see what else is going on. Oh, I watched. We're not going to watch it right now because we're almost on. But I watched a bunch of videos because people's NDAs got lifted for War Dogs. So I watched like Jack Frags, and I watched Will, the guy who also plays with Jack Frags. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for War Dogs. I'm excited for it. It reminds me when I watch the gameplay. Okay, it literally reminds me back when I first found Battlefield 1942 back in the day for PC. Okay, and that's what brought me in. Like what you could do and play for Battlefield 1942 back in the day was amazing, right? And that's exactly what it feels like for War Dogs. But it feels like an upgrade because of the money system they have in the game and what you can bring into the match. It makes it fair or not fair, because if you kill a whole bunch of stuff or you build up and you have a lot of money, then you can buy a tank. Then you change the advantage. It's not just someone can just get a tank, right? You have to earn your way up the ranks to get certain things to bring into the match. And then when you get it, you might have the advantage for a bit until other people start pushing and pulling. And then that makes a reason why to go into the circle to get more cash, to get more money. So it's really a changing dynamic constantly that's happening. And it lets people bring into like the fights they want to fight. If they don't want to fight, they stay on the outside and they build and they bring people into the fight, and they can still constantly give to the battle, which is really cool. So I'm excited for it. I think tomorrow we're going to watch either Jack Frag or Will's gameplay footage, and we'll just take a look at it and stuff like that. All right, that's going to do it for me today. I do appreciate you very much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little. Well, actually, I don't know. I didn't think they changed the membership. I think YouTube changed the fucking membership. If you want to become a member, become a member. If not, no big deal. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to get some merch, we got mugs. Big fan out there. I know Aaron's a huge fan. He made a second account just so he can come back and chat. So you can pick up a mug. You can pick up a T-shirt. You can pick up you can listen to the songs that we've created over on Spotify. I appreciate you very much. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern or 8:30-ish. Tarner says, hey guys, the person whose livelihood depends on success of a game has played it, and guess what? Her impressions was, I don't know what you're asking for. $5 super chat, appreciate you. Who we talking about? Who we talking about for what her impressions was? I don't know who you're talking about that. Well, what's it called? We'll be back, like I said, 30 and Still Gaming tonight, playing some Shooting the Shit with Sarge, playing some Halo Part 3 with the boys as well. So I know who you're talking about, Tarnish, and then we'll go. Person whose livelihood depends on the success of a game was played it, and guess what? Her impressions are. Then you talk about the CEO. Oh, Asha Sharma. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, I don't understand who he's talking about. 100% makes sense. Yes, Asha Sharma, whose life depends on it for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out and work. Yes, gotcha. Yeah, I was missing the context there. My apologies. I was like, I don't know who he's talking about. Overstating her livelihood depending on the success. I don't think he's overstating it. I think that is part of what her livelihood is. Her livelihood is to turn around Xbox. Turning around Xbox is Skyrim and Fallout is part of that plan. And if it doesn't work out, then she won't be working there much longer, right? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's more on Todd than her, but the same. Generational wealthy? Sure, but he's not talking about that for her personal wealth. He's talking about her career at Xbox. Depends on Elder Scrolls 6 coming out and not sucking balls, right? Anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
house wrapped in neon light. Everyone online said it changed their life. Started up the game and watched it play. Guess I'm just along for the ride again today. Walk real slow through another empty hall. Character keeps talking while I do nothing at all. Hold the stick forward, that's the big design. 10 out of 10 every single time. And I miss those nights, failing 20 times. Now everything survives itself without me trying. Gaming lost its soul somewhere, buried underneath perfect scores and scripted